Thanksgiving yesterday, and with the high school football season being pushed back a week or two, we find ourselves in round one, a day after Turkey Day, and what a matchup we have for you here tonight. The Creekview Grizzlies entertain a familiar foe in the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets. Of course, these two teams in the same region the last couple of years. Of course, during the last round of realignment and reclassification, Sprayberry wound up in another region opposite of the Creekview Grizzlies. But tonight, they meet again, this time in round one of the state playoffs. This will make the fifth straight season that they have played. However, tonight we'll have just a little bit more on the line with the winner, of course, going on to round number two. It should be a lot of fun here tonight as we bring the action to you live from the Grizzly Den in East Cherokee, as the Creekview Grizzlies once again are back in the postseason and looking forward to another great showing under second-year head coach Trevor Williams. We'll go ahead and take a 2-minute break, and when we return, I'll join the guys on the other side for the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. Mr. Art Mosley with us here tonight, and of course our very own Golden Boy Will Cooper. And those guys coming up after a 2-minute break. Stay with us. Our live coverage of the Cherokee County Game of the Week returns in a moment. You're listening to North Georgia's 101.1 FM WLJA.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Hi, I'm Dave Garner.
And I'm Janet Mueller.
And we're your local Woodman Life representatives.
You know, Dave, it must be tough announcing games and still providing financial security through life insurance, retirement, and member benefits.
Well, Janet, it's an honor, but it means that I have a great partner when it comes to protecting families from financial hardship.
So come see us.
Or call us at 706-273-9347.
Or 770-894-7898.
And find out how Woodman Life can help you leave memories, not expenses. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Welcome into the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside my good friend, the editor-in-chief of the Turd Ferguson Report, Arthur Mosley, filling in the big old shoes of Von Brown, who unfortunately has decided to stay home. We wish him all the best, and as people have come accustomed to us, we will be making fun of him throughout the night, as he is not here to defend himself. It makes him there an easy target. But Art, how you doing, buddy? How was your Turkey Day? And we're glad you're here, man.
I am doing well. Turkey Day was great. Probably ate a little bit too much. And before you pick on Dave here, I bought a little dessert for everybody. So, Will, you ought to be packing on some extra pounds, too, getting that dad bod in shape, man.
Well, I tell you, that's a good thing, matter of fact. But I'll tell you, on the long run, I don't think my knees can handle all the weight of Dave. That's why he's such a true athlete, because his knees hold up in a tremendous amount of weight. And that's one thing to be really proud of for Dave. But, of course, our focus here is on the Creekview Grizzlies as they get to host a home playoff game in a season full of confusion and really a season we didn't think we would get to this point. So the fact that we are here, we do want to give a special shout-out to the GHSA for allowing us to broadcast this game, and they have asked us to read the following script. The Georgia High School Association is a voluntary nonprofit organization composed of over 460 public and private high schools. The GHSA administrators regulations for regions and state competition in 19 sports and 2 activities. Founded in 1908, the GHSA strives to promote good sportsmanship, participant safety, and fair play among its member schools. For more information, visit GHSA.net. Follow at official GHSA on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the YouTubes. Folks, thank you for tuning in with us. And, of course, as Dave mentioned in the opening preface, we want to welcome in all the people who are enjoying the Christmas lights just up the road here on Highway 20.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I don't know if you've ever been out there on Highway 20 on Veterans Park, but great display. I mean, my wife drugged me. I mean, I got to take my wife to the Christmas display last year, so it was a great family time, even with a couple of middle schoolers in the car. So, nevertheless, you mentioned the reason why we're interrupting the Christmas music is we've got a big game here at Creekview. Dave said 2 former region rivals. We'll get to that in a little bit, Will, but this is not the only playoff game not just being played by Cherokee County teams. We also have another one that is hosted by a Cherokee County football team, and that would be the River Ridge Knights as they host the Kennesaw Mountain Mustangs. Now, interesting tidbit, these 2 schools, River Ridge playing in their second ever playoff game in school history, Kennesaw Mountain playing in their first playoff game in school history, and Kennesaw Mountain is playing in a game that is coached by an alumni, Caleb Carmian, and he's in his second year at Kennesaw Mountain. He's got them up to 4 wins this season. They were 4-5. They missed a game, obviously, with this crazy COVID season.
Right.
And then with another kind of head-scratcher tiebreaker, because we thought, as we're looking at the records, that River Ridge would be hosting Pope, but nevertheless, Kennesaw Mountain does what they need to do to get into the playoffs, and they're representing Region 6 as of number 4 seed, Will.
Well, first of all, what a segue. I mean, wow. Like a true broadcaster over here. I mean, just absolutely taking things by the horns and bringing it in.
After a whole season with you and Dave, I feel like I had to have shown what I learned at some point, Will.
Well, I expect more from Dave, obviously with his large mouth that is capable of producing lots of words and also intaking lots of calories. But exactly right. Kennesaw Mountain comes into this matchup 4-5. Their 4 wins against Lassiter, South Cobb, Wheeler, and Osborne. Their 5 losses against East Paulding, Discovery, Allatoona, Sprayberry, and Kell. River Ridge comes into this one 9-0, region champs in Region 7 6A. Congratulations to those guys. They did have a canceled game, but it didn't matter. Ended up claiming the region victory anyway. Their wins are against Lassiter, Woodstock, Etowah, Chattahoochee, Riverwood, Creekview, Centennial, Sequoia, and Cambridge. River Ridge comes into this one a 17-point favorite according to my rankings, 27-point favorite according to you, my friend, and a 21-point favorite according to Cal Preps, and a 22-point favorite according to the Maxwell ratings, courtesy of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. First meeting for these 2 teams, as you mentioned, and the winner will get to face the winner of the Rome and Habersham Central game. If it is the case that Kennesaw Mountain was able to win that game, then they would have to go on the road and face whoever wins that game. But as far as River Ridge goes, being the first seed, they get the enjoyable ability to stay home and see whoever wins that one. And whether it's Rome or Habersham Central, they'll be hosting that game if they are able to beat Kennesaw Mountain. But you don't want to overlook a team like this, obviously, coming in. River Ridge is a team that you have to feel like has the advantage coming into this one, obviously, as the score ratings predict. But what are you looking for in particular in this one, since I know you get into the nitty-gritty over there?
Well, I'm looking at 2 running backs. One, we know about Amir Morrison. We'll talk about him in a second. But for Kennesaw Mountain, their running back had a big week last week. A guy by the name of T.J. Jenkins. He used to rush for 1,173 yards and 13 touchdowns on the season. Quarterback came in Prangler 730 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then Jalen Taylor is his number 1 receiver. I'm looking for River Ridge to go in and shut those guys down. They're going to have to get some pressure on Prangley. Obviously, on the other end, you're talking about Amir Morrison, Carson Latham, the 1-2 punch in the backfield. What we saw, I was very impressed with Carson Latham when we watched him over against Centennial, was Latham's ability to run that option that we hadn't seen a whole lot prior to that point in the pregame, in the season prior to that point, but they get that rolling, so you've got another run threat, and then, man, you got a guy like Andrew Bingham who can spell Amir Morrison, a little bit different type of runner, but gives you an excellent 1-2 punch, and we haven't even gotten to the wide receivers, Canes, Head, Chase Usher, and then that defense. I think River Ridge's defense is one of the most underrated, and I talked to this guy with Coach Collins, and I'll continue to talk about him, but Brian Bradley, I think, is one of the most underrated defensive linemen, and he's long. He's got a body type. We think he'll grow into a little bit bigger player, and he's just a junior. So those guys can get some pressure on Kennesaw Mountain. I think it's going to be a long night. And like I said 27 when I originally wrote that prediction. I had 30 This could be a big number for River Ridge. I think maybe similar to what we saw them against Centennial. I think Kennesaw Mountain reminds me a little bit of Centennial, and I think River Ridge gets going, and this is I won't say a walk in the park because there's no such thing once we get to this point in the season. But, man.
As far as an opening round game goes, they really got the luck of that draw. And, we were obviously trying to put the brackets together here at the end of the schedule. And, obviously we were confused about the Sequoia game. We were confused about, still don't understand that one fully. And we were confused about the Pope and Kennesaw Mountain seeding as well, which we never got an affirmative answer on, I don't believe. It's kind of one of these things where with COVID and all this stuff, we haven't had a true answer to this because normally you would have, Pope and Kennesaw Mountain to get to play each other to determine that seeding.
Right.
And same thing with the Sequoia game there. They really needed that last game, they played 10 games, but they really needed Johns Creek to be able to play because that loss that Johns Creek gave also technically in the region it gave it to River Ridge, even though it obviously won't go on their record. But in the region standings, that backed everybody up and backed Sequoia out of there, and they weren't able to push Cambridge out. So bygones are bygones. We're here now. I know that a lot of people are frustrated about that. I was too, especially when we were sitting there Friday night last week trying to figure out, okay, how do these teams not get in? How does this work? Obviously we want to provide people with the most updated information on that one. But, yeah, River Ridge getting a good draw on this one and looking forward to see what the Knights can do. Obviously, our friend Patrick O'Shea with the Cherokee Tribune is going to be over there, hopefully providing us with some score updates. And as you people know, look, we don't come into these games just to call the Creekview game. We also are going to provide you with score updates around the county and around the area, as we will provide you with the scores for the games to watch. So if you're a River Ridge fan and you want to know what's going on with Rome and Habersham Central, we'll have it updated right here for you as soon as we can.
Yeah, that Rome and Habersham Central, a big game. Rome with a lot of young talent there, and then Habersham Central, a team that can really air it out. Matter of fact, 2 years ago they came in here to Creekview and just had a barn burner, a game that looked like it was over, and Habersham Central really able to throw the ball well. They've got another young quarterback that's up and coming, and not going to be an easy night for Rome at Barron Stadium with I believe it's the Raiders coming over from Habersham Central. Yep. And then again, assuming if the seeds play out like we think they will, River Ridge taking care of business, they'll have certainly an interesting spot next week.
Yes, and it'll be a good game for sure. Turning our attention over to 7A, we will look at the 1-7-8 team we have in the playoffs, and that is the Cherokee Warriors. Cherokee will be on the road in this one, 8-2. 8 wins against Carver in the Corky Kell game, first one of the season. A 41-20 win over Sequoia, a 21-15 win over Rome, a 14-9 win against Creekview here, a 14-12 win over Cartersville. I'm doing this from memory.
There we go.
41-7 over Woodstock, 35-6 over Etowah, and then Alpharetta win as well. And the two losses, one was to Roswell just by a touchdown, 35-28. Now, obviously, the Milton game was our Cherokee County game of the week last week. Cherokee really kind of suffered from some special teams mishaps due to their long snapper being out, and we saw kind of the side effects of that, as well as there were some defensive key guys out as well. But obviously Milton went and claimed their next region championship in that series as well. And unfortunately for Cherokee, but luckily for Etowah, Etowah was able to beat Alpharetta, therefore pushing Cherokee down to the 3rd seed, and that's why they have to face North Gwinnett. North Gwinnett comes in 7-3, 7 wins against McEachern, Jones County, Parkview, North Cobb, Mill Creek, Peachtree Ridge, and Mountain View. The 3 losses against Lovejoy, Archer by only a point, and Collins Hill. North Gwinnett is an 8-point favorite according to my rankings, 5-point favorite according to CalPreps. Maxwell has them at a field goal favorite. And you, my friend, made headlines by picking Cherokee at a 2-point clip. But an interesting note that I will leave you with before we turn it over to you. Cherokee is 8-0 when holding teams at or below their average points per game.
Okay.
And North Gwinnett's average is 27.4 points per game. So I would say 28 is Cherokee's magic number. You got to hold them to 28 or less, and if you're able to do that, the Warriors have a good chance to walk away with a win.
Yeah, they do. I was talking to a friend of mine from North Cobb, who I go back and forth with on Twitter, and he said, look, North Gwinnett, it was the best defense we've seen all season. He said, but if you have playmakers, you can put them and get them in trouble. North Gwinnett is only averaging 27.4 points a game, and you talk about some of their wins and losses. The head scratcher for me is Lovejoy. Yeah. I knew the Wildcats were a pretty good 6A team, but dropping a game to them 19-7 made me think, okay, they can play with anybody defensively, but offensively, where are their points coming from? They've got a couple of great wide receivers in Bobby Izard and then Seth Anderson. And, Will, I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Flipper Anderson. You probably don't remember Flipper, but he was an old wide receiver for I believe it was the L.A. Rams, or it could have been the St. Louis Rams. Maybe it was L.A. when I was a kid.
Right.
Okay, his son is Seth Anderson. He plays over there at North Gwinnett. But look, they've only got 639, or their starting quarterback has only passed for 639 yards. As a team, they've only passed for 735. Their running backs, as a team, they've got 1,216 yards. Marcus McFarlane's a leader over there at 503 yards. They're not putting up a ton of big numbers. And conversely, you have a team with Cherokee who's got some guys that are putting up some really big numbers. You talk about a guy like A.J. Swan, a quarterback who's passed over 2,000 yards. Keith Adams Jr., one of the top running backs in Class 7A. And then Darius Harshaw, Brady Bacher, and I'm going to forget the last wide receiver because I don't have it down in my notes here because there's just so many playmakers. Hayden Shockley, there we go. They just have so many playmakers over there in offense. And I'll tell you, like we talked to Coach Shaw on the podcast this week, and we saw the game, and I thought, man, the offensive line for Cherokee, Derek Battle especially, he's a guy that we don't give a whole lot of press to. We talk a lot about Nathan Simmons and Chanley, but Derek Battle just went to battle last week against old LT Overton. Now he's going to have his hands full again this week as Barrett Carter lines up there on the other side of the ball. Barrett Carter's stats are not overly impressive,
right.
But you can imagine because he's getting a lot of attention.
Yep.
And so he's got some teammates that are getting some things done. McDonald, we mentioned before, he's got 45 total tackles, 9 sacks. Linebacker Watson with 9 sacks. So it's going to be a very active defense. So I'm interested to see again what Coach O'Buck, strangely enough, he is the former offensive line coach for the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets.
You got it.
He dialed up a good game last week. I want to see what he can do this week to get Keith Adams Jr. going and also to get A.J. Tom against that North Gwinnett defense.
You're absolutely right. I was super impressed with the Warriors' offensive line last week, especially Derek Battle, as you mentioned. Obviously, Nathan Simmons is the big guy on that line, 6'6", 290. It's hard to miss him. But when you look down the line, you have the guard Ryan Chanley, who has an offer from Florida, Ben Rice at center there as well, and then obviously Derek Battle on the right tackle side doing a great job against those weak defensive ends on that side as well. So a lot of talent over there as well. Cherokee is not a team to be taken lightly, and that is why if you are listening on GPB, or if you're listening to us, tune over to GPB right now, mute the TV. And is it GPB?
Actually, it's Mill Creek.
Mill Creek
and Roswell.
Mill Creek Roswell, that's it. My apologies, my friends. And they will be playing the winner of the West Forsyth Meadow Creek game. West Forsyth will be familiar to some folks as the head coach over there is Coach Dave Savella, the former head coach of the Etowah Eagles. Coming up on the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show, we will be previewing the game here as the Creekview Grizzlies host the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets in a Region 6-6A formerly teams, a rematch for them as they have a little bit of history. We'll go over that coming up next, and we will also be going over the rest of the games that you need to keep your eye on this Friday night. Thank you for being with us. 2 minutes, and we'll be back on the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity, member FNIRA and SIPC.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to to E-metric sizes.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games, and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
Welcome back to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. I am, of course, your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley, the editor-in-chief of the Turd Ferguson Report, as well as Dave Garner is somewhere here in the booth.
I'm here.
Oh, hey. How you doing, buddy?
Just listening to you. I'm making notes.
Well, he had to swallow his food real quick.
All
that
the
way
different
he could
things
talk,
that you've been saying. And
well, that's fine. It is what it is. Yeah. Hey, look, we got a good game we want to talk about here for you, and that, of course, is our attention here as the Creekview Grizzlies host the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets. As Dave alluded to in the intro, and, of course, I just mentioned, these two teams were former rivals in the recent Region 6-6A, and all-time they have 5 games between each other. Creekview leads that series 3-2. Some different notes for you here. Coach Williams is 0-1 against Sprayberry as they were in that region last year. Of course, they lost against them as Sprayberry made the 4th seed there. The coach Vivara over there for Sprayberry is 1-2 against Creekview in his tenure for the Yellow Jackets over there. Sprayberry is a 6-point favorite according to my rankings and a 1-point favorite according to CalPreps. Art, you have them picked at a 5-point clip, Creekview that is, and Maxwell Ratings agrees dead on with you, 5-point favorite right there, so something to keep an eye on there. The winner of this game will face the winner of Winderboro, which is the 4th seed, and Carrollton, which is the 1st seed. Art, I'm sure that you'll have more to say about those teams. You keep your eye on the majority of the teams. So for those that aren't aware, Winderboro is the 4th seed, so if Winderboro wins, these two teams are really, that's what they're hoping for.
Right.
Because they would get to host a home playoff game, but Carrollton obviously being the region champ, being the favorite in that one, if they do pull out the victory over there, then one of these teams will be on the road to Carrollton. So obviously, Creekview comes into this one 7-2. Their 7 wins against Etowah, 14-13 in a nail-biter of the opening season game. Woodstock, they beat them 16-2. Cambridge, they beat them 19-0. Sequoia, 24-0. Riverwood, 19-7 in a game that took pretty much 4 days. Chattahoochee, they beat them 38-21 on an explosion of offense in the grand return of Andrew Cloy, and then finally beat Johns Creek 19-14. Their 2 losses are against 2 really good teams. Cherokee, they lost 14-9 here, and River Ridge, they lost 20-17 here as well. That's right, both their losses are here at the Grizzly Den. This is Coach Williams' 2nd season with them. He is 13-6 overall record in his first playoff game as a head coach. Turn over the play card. Sprayberry is 5-4. Their wins against Wheeler, they beat them 45-6. Kennesaw Mountain, they beat them 51-20. Osborne won 67-6, beat Lassiter 49-9, and South Cobb beat them 54-7. They have not beaten a team at or above 500. The teams that they've beaten have a combined record of 11-37. Their losses are against North Cobb 48-30, Collins Hill 34-14, Allatoona 20-10, and Kell 38-31. But those teams have a combined record of 32-6. So really 2 different tales, talking about 2 different sides of the coin. This is Brett Vivara's 4th season. He's 16-24 overall with the Yellow Jackets and is 0-1 in the playoffs after being eliminated in the first round last week. With all that being said, Art, what you looking for, buddy?
I tell you what, I'm looking for a Sprayberry team that is going to get after it offensively, take the ball and throw it down the field. They've got a couple of great wide receivers, Fatir Muhammad, Mustafa Hefner, and then Josh Bush, the wide receivers, all to keep your name on. And then you've got a quarterback, Kyle Brown, over 1,400 yards passing, running back in Demarion Owens, over 1,000-yard rusher. So they've really got some playmakers. And then here's a name for you, man. Kristen Mergler lines up a tight end, also going to be on the defensive line, really going to look to get pressure. So I see a team that almost mirrors Creekview. Now, they line up a little bit differently. You know, they'll go 3-4 wide with running back out of the shotgun, but I really see a team that has a lot of similarities. And in the game they played last year, you know, Sprayberry won that game by 6 points. I think this is going to be a very similar ball game. Not to mention, Will, that game last year that Sprayberry won was kind of the deciding factor that sent Sprayberry to the playoffs and kept Creekview home with a 6-4 record last year.
Exactly right. And you know, when you talk about the similarities between these offenses, They're a run-first team, as you mentioned, a lot of yards on both sides of this. The rushing attack for Creekview is more split between Tyler Stevens and Brody Rhodes, and on the opposite end of that, Sprayberry splits it between their two running backs. But what you're going to see the difference is that Sprayberry is going to line up in a spread. They're going to use a tight end to release on blocks, and they like the underneath passes as well. And on the opposite end of that, you're going to see Creekview, who's going to line up in a lot of old-fashioned. If you like old-fashioned football, you love Creekview Grizzly football because it is sound and it is defense first. But on the offense, they like power formation. They like the I formation, the pistol if they're going to go out of the shotgun. Very rarely do you see them spread everybody out. A lot. They pass the ball around a lot to a lot of different guys. Fullback Andy Vaccaro there. Obviously Andrew Cloy returning is a big deal for them. Dawson Curry on the other side of him as well. Tyler Stevens is a great catching back equally as well on that side. And then the defensive side, you mentioned 29 sacks for Sprayberry coming into this one and 43 sacks for Creekview coming into this one. So a really good team that gets after it. The difference for me is the fact that Sprayberry has double the turnovers that Creekview has. Creekview's only forced 13 this season, and Sprayberry's forced 26, and that includes 12 interceptions. So Brody Rhodes, who unfortunately has a little bit of the turnover bug this year, is going to have to really watch and make sure that he completes those passes, because the last thing you want is to be negative in the turnover battle in a playoff game.
You're right about that, Will. And we're taking a look at Brody Rhodes' quarterback numbers. I've got him down with 6 touchdowns and 6 picks, just over 1,000 yards passing the ball. But like you mentioned, the captain, Andrew Cloy, is back. We saw him warming up, number 22. He looks good out there, recovering from that shoulder injury. Cloy has made the most of his opportunities. I think in his 2 games back, he's got 3 touchdowns, and he's been very efficient. I don't think they've had to throw the ball to him a whole lot, but he's been very efficient. And I think having a receiver like that completely gives that quarterback that much more confidence. You mentioned Brody Rhodes, his ability to run the ball as well. He's got, I believe it's about a little over 600 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. So you've got 2 options there at running back with the power back of Stevens and then Brody Rhodes, and then throw in Hayden Thompson there, the H-back, Dawson Curry on the other side. This is a Creekview defense. We know that, and this is a comment I made to Coach Williams in the podcast. I said, Coach, I think if you guys get to 19 points, you'd be all right. I mean, you're going to score a couple touchdowns, get a safety, and then, maybe kick a field goal by Moncada, and then, hold Sprayberry to 14 points. I think that's the magic number for Creekview. You got to hold them to 17 or less.
Right you are. That's going to do it for the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. When we come back, we will bring you the first half of action live from the Grizzly Den at Creekview High School. 2 minutes and we're back. You're listening to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
Hi, it's Dave Garner, voice of the Cherokee County Game of the Week. But did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative and poverty prevention specialist? For over 130 years, Woodman Life has protected families with life insurance and retirement products. And as your local agent, I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Call or text me at 706-273-9347 or visit my Facebook page at Dave Garner Woodman Life to learn how I can help you or your loved ones today. Insurance protection, financial security, Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on enjoycherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
The teams are through the banners. The talk is over. It is time for some football. Welcome into the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. I am your play-by-play man, Will Cooper. Alongside me in the booth is the Diamond Man, the golden voice of the broadcast, Diamond Dave Garner, helping me anchor things over here. Also joining us tonight, the editor-in-chief of the Turd Ferguson Report, Arthur Mosley. To the right of me, Ronnie on the spot, Ronnie Cooper keeping the stats, and our good friend Ace of Spades Jones back on Master Control, making us sound so good like he always does. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, but we got some football on tap here for you.
Yeah, going to be a good one. A lot of fun here tonight. Playoff atmosphere indeed. Sprayberry, of course, won this matchup last year, Will, 27-21. But, you know, something a little bit different about this matchup tonight. I mean, it's playoffs. It's a different level, a different feeling in the air, certainly. A nice, crisp November evening, but perfect for high school football under the lights here at the Grizzly Den.
Right you are, my friend. They are set up on the tee. Andrew Cloy is back deep. He will also be joined by Dawson Curry in the back. Toe meets leather, and it's a short kick here to the right side of the field. It'll be fair caught at the 32-yard line, and that's where the Creekview Grizzlies will set up shop as Brody Rhodes walks out to lead his Creekview Grizzly team onto the field for the first time tonight.
Yeah, we talked about Rhodes, and Art just hit it. 49% passer, over 1,000 yards this year, just 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But as we know, Brody beat you a lot of different ways. 611 rushing yards coming into the game tonight, a pair of touchdowns on the ground as well. And they're going to really rely on Tyler Stevens, 863 rushing yards. Remember, this is just 9 games. They haven't played a full 10-game schedule, so all these stats we share with you tonight are through just 9 games.
Right, and that's the thing about this COVID year is that you're going to see a lot of shortened stats. Pistol formation, 3 wide receivers split out, tied into the backfield. Whistle blows, and they move that man in motion. Move here, and it's a flea flicker. It was intended for Stevens. It's back to Rhodes. He's got a man deep, Cloy, and he's tripped. And no flag comes out. I suppose they'll say incidental contact. The Creekview side wants a flag. It was there if he could have made the catch, but instead it falls harmlessly to the turf for 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Kobe Summerall, the senior DB, back there in coverage, and their legs just got tangled together. And this is a very athletic secondary for Sprayberry. They really get back down the field. They got great closing speed, and the back four play really well. They've got 8, 9 interceptions between the two of them. And that time, a little bit of innocent contact there, although the Grizzlies were wanting the flag.
Definitely wanting a flag there, but it doesn't come out, and it brings up 2nd and 10. Once again, ball at the 32-yard line. Power formation here. Instead, they send the running back in motion, so one downman. It's a handoff right up the middle to the fullback, and it's a gain of maybe 1. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's call it a gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Yeah, Darius Galliard, the sophomore defensive lineman, was the first guy there. 5.5 sacks this year. These guys play really well up front, and what that allows them to do defensively is allows these linebackers, Tran and Broad, who are the 2 leading tacklers on the team, to really fly around and make plays. And these defensive linemen do a great job of tying up those offensive linemen to let those backers run free. I love the play call, though, Will, on first down, a flea flicker. Got to come out, land that first punch here in this ball game, and try to get some momentum on your side.
Right you are, as it brings up 3rd and 9, after the incomplete pass. 4 wide split. Tyler Stevens and Brody Rhodes. Pistol formation, snaps his hands. Searches, it's over the middle, and it's complete to Vaccaro, and it's incomplete. A great defensive play over the middle there, trying to get a number. Sprayberry white on white, so hard to get numbers here for you. But a great defensive play there, and the Grizzlies will be forced to punt.
Yeah, Jaden Edmonds was the one who got his hand in there and broke it up. Again, Edmonds is one of those guys in the back end of that defense. 65 tackles and interception this year, and he's really the one guy, the safety, that comes up, makes a lot of plays out of the back end. That time, just great coverage there. Got a hand in there at the last minute to break up what would have been a Grizzly first down.
Dawson Curry will come out and handle the punting duties, which does lend itself to a little bit of trickeration, even though that's not really in the Grizzlies' style of play, and especially not on 4th and 9 from their own 33. Snap is back, and it's good. And a good kick, end over end, out to the, it'll bounce at the 33, and it still rolls. Take a Grizzly bounce, and it'll die right there at about the 26-yard line. So a good punt from Dawson Curry, and the Yellow Jackets will take up shop for the first time tonight on their own 26.
Yeah, man, first drive, very impressed with Sprayberry's defense. Like Dave mentioned, incidental contact on the back end on that flea flicker. But they hold tight, limit him to Tyler Stevens to a yard on the ground and then an incomplete pass. So a good defensive series for Sprayberry. Let's see if Creekview can answer right here as Sprayberry comes to the line.
Yeah, big offense right here, too. They average almost 40 points. 38.8 points a ball game this year for the Yellow Jackets. So, again, that Grizzly defense certainly going to be tested tonight.
They've got 3 split out wide. Tight end is Danilo Frederick. This time it's a handoff right off the left-hand side, and a group of Grizzlies get to him, but it'll be a gain of about 5, out across to the 31-yard line. And that was Demarion Owens, the leading rusher for this team, comes in with 122 carries, 1,032 yards, and 15 touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, going to be calling a lot of number 24 here tonight. He's really their do-it-all guy, and, over 1,000 yards rushing. And remember, just in 9 games he's done that.
3 wide receivers split out to the near side. Sprayberry this time gets the handoff, and a good open field tackle by Peyton Parker, and he's fighting for it, and he's got a few more yards. Move the chains, that'll be enough for a first down as he's all the way to the 44-yard line.
Yeah, Parker had him wrapped up, but he kind of hit him high and went for a ride, and then he had to rely on a couple of his other teammates there in the second, third level of that defense to come up, and Owens just kept those legs driving and pushed it all the way out to the 44, as you said. So Sprayberry already establishing the run game here early on the first couple plays of this opening series.
Peyton Parker, 5'10", 180 pounds, trying to bring down Demarion Owens, 5'9", 200 pounds. Let's see, 3 wide receivers split out here, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Working from right to left. Gets the snap here and hands it off to Owens once again. Mosley trying to chase him down, but he gets to the outside and is leveled. Wow, a great tackle by Isaac Hubert out there in space. The sophomore, 6'1", 190 pounds, comes in with 50 tackles into this game with 13 tackles for loss and third on the team with 7.5 sacks. That's just how loaded they are with pass rushers.
Yeah, and Sam Mosley, he didn't make the tackle, but he made the play. Made Owens kind of go around and still picked up 5, almost 6 yards there, but again was able to push him outside, and then Hubert used the sideline as his best friend to shove him out.
3 wide receivers once again, 2 to the near side, 1 to the top. It's a handoff once again, this time to a different running back. He's out across the first down marker. That was Isaiah Abbey, the backup, 6'1", 215. Not really a backup, so to speak, but just the thunder and lightning, the lightning side of this matchup.
Yeah, nice change of pace back. 77 touches this year, 639, and averaging over 8 yards a touch. I mean, he and Owens both are loads to bring down, and Abbey's got 9 rushing touchdowns as well. These guys really score on the ground. 37 rushing touchdowns against just 13 passing.
Similar formation to last time. 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, 1 running back. It's a low snap, but it's fielded here and handed off cleanly. And a group of Grizzlies get to him. Grant Anderson was there on the tackle, as well as Sam Mosley will get a credit for the tackle as well. And only a gain of about 2.
Yeah, Isaac Hubert was the guy who came in there and cleaned him up, too, and pushed him backwards. Best play so far for this Grizzly defense, Will. They haven't had a lot of plus plays here on this opening drive, and this time we'll see Sprayberry in a long yardage situation for the first time tonight.
One place you don't want to be is in a passing situation with a Creekview team that has forced 43 sacks this year. This time they split out, same formation as last time, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Slings it out to the far side, a bad pass, and it will fall harmlessly to the turf. That was intended for number 6 out there in space. Josh Bush, the senior, 5'8", 160 pounds, comes in with 27 receptions, 488 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Nothing doing that time, 3rd and 8.
Yeah, Cale Williams made sure that he didn't catch that ball anyways, a low pass. Really, Sprayberry, they like to run the football. Their offensive line averaging 280, plus. They got some big guys up on that line there. Moore, the center, 6'3", 307. They went away from the run now, and now they're in 3rd and long situation.
3 wide receivers split to the bottom. 1 running back. Grizzlies showing pressure. He's flushed out of the pocket here, and it's completed over the middle. What a great pass and catch, as that's enough for a first down. Demarion Owens with the reception and move those chains. Sprayberry with a great answer on 3rd and long.
Yeah, Owens not known really as a pass catcher. He's only got 2 receptions out of the backfield this year for 11 yards, but that time he was the safety valve as the pressure was coming down on Kyle Brown, the quarterback, and Brown was able to find Owens, who was kind of waiting over by the sideline there, and was able to pick up the yards after catch right there.
Kyle Brown, 6', 165-pound quarterback. This time it's a handoff. He bounces it off to the left-hand side, and he's going to be brought down. Great open field tackle. Peyton Parker and Grant Anderson there. Grant Anderson, the leading tackler for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Anderson, heck of a line this year, as we know, 85 tackles, leads, of course, the team, and one of the tops in the county there. And a back like Owens, I mean, he's a big guy. He stands in there. He's 5'9", but he's 200 pounds, and he really gets rolling downhill. You got to hit him low. Again, he's been able to fall forward after a couple of these initial hits and pick up a couple yards.
3 wide receivers to the bottom, 1 tight end with his hand down. It's another pass attempt. It's out to the left side again. Got one-on-one out there. What a great turnaround catch. My goodness, I believe that was Fatir Muhammad. Is that who caught that?
Trying to get a number
here.
That
was number 2. That was Mustafa Hefner, yeah. Boy, Hefner made a nice play over there, and I think that was Nick Stewart who rolled over, but he just never got his head around. And Cale Williams also rolling over from that safety spot, but got there just a little bit late, and just a perfectly thrown ball by Kyle Brown up against the near sideline as Hefner went up and got it and was able to get both feet down right at the 2-yard line.
So they are there, 1st and goal. Wildcat formation here, as it's the 2 running backs in the backfield here. Owen snaps his hands, runs it up, and he's going to be real close to first down, fights for it, and he is in. Touchdown, Sprayberry. So just like that, Sprayberry answers, and it's 6-0, pinning the extra point here on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard.
Well, man, I'm very impressed with Sprayberry, just taking it and feeding them a steady dose of Demarion Owens, and then mixing it up the plate, the Thanksgiving plate there with Isaiah Abbey in the backfield. Great catch down there by Mustafa Hefner down there to get him in the goal line, but God almighty, not what we expected out of Sprayberry.
Pablo Gonzalez on to attempt the extra point. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is through there. And it is 7-0 in favor of the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets. We'll keep the action right here for you as we've got 7 minutes and 42 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of this first round of the playoffs.
Well, you know, Sprayberry able to pick up a lot of yardage on first down on that drive, setting themselves up in man situation. Only had 1 3rd and 8 play that they got, and that was on that kind of broken play where they were able to find Owens out of the backfield. He was able to pick up the first down. But other than that, Sprayberry just methodically moving the football from their end after a 3-and-out by Creekview. And so now if you're this Grizzly offense, we hadn't scored a lot of points this year. I mean, they've only averaged right at 19, and ironically, as you and I have talked about, Will, they've scored 19 points in about
4 times.
4 or 5 games this year. So, Sprayberry is an offense we knew coming in that was going to put up points. It's going to be up to this Creekview offense to try to take a little pressure off that defense tonight. They're going to have to find a way to put up points as well.
That last drive, 10 plays, 74 yards, 7 on the ground for 35 yards, 2 of 3 through the air, 39 yards, 4 first downs, 3 minutes and 20 seconds time off the clock, and a 2-yard touchdown by Owens to give them the 7-0 lead. Thank you to Ronnie on the spot, Ronnie Cooper, giving us the stats and doing a fantastic job here tonight.
I know that you don't give him a hard time like you do the rest
He's my
of
stats
us.
guy.
Is there a wonder why?
He's my stats guy, and I'm going to look like him in 20 years. Toe meets leather, and it's another short kick, and this time it's going to be fielded by Isaac Hubert, and he's going to try and return it, and he gets real close to the 50-yard line, and they'll spot him at the 48. So the Grizzlies will have great field position here to start out.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a missed pooch or if that was an onside kick. I mean, I think they were just trying to pooch that ball right past the up line and get down there and recover it. I don't think that was a full pooch unless the kicker just kind of hit it off the side of his foot. But regardless, that's a great, great return there, great field position. And Hubert wasn't going to just fall on that ball. He made a couple guys pay for it.
He has been known to take a few snaps at running back, so we'll keep an eye on that here for you. But this is not the case, as it is Tyler Stevens joined alongside Brody Rhodes at their second attempt on offense. 3 guys split out to the near side, 1 wide receiver to the top. It's a fake handoff to Stevens, and Rhodes is bouncing outside. He's got plenty of room. First down, 40, and he's finally forced out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Move those chains. The Grizzlies have a running first down, their first down of the game.
Well, that's exactly what they needed right there. A little misdirection, a little play action right there. Get Rhodes in space. RPO, as we talk about, and that time Rhodes had a lot of real estate in front of him over on the far sideline, and certainly a big momentum changer right there. So a short kickoff and then one play, you're standing there 36, well within striking distance here still early in this game.
Break the huddle in a hurry. Don't want to show the formation too quickly. A.J. Vaccaro checks in at the tight end position. Tyler Stevens and Brody Rhodes still in the backfield. Turn around, and it's a pitch to him right up the middle, and a gain of about 3 there early. So 2nd and 7, a good first down play for the Creekview Grizzlies.
Yeah, Tyler Stevens, 182 totes, 863 coming in, 4.5 per carry and 7 touchdowns, and also has 27 receptions for 261. So I look for them to kind of mix it up a little bit, some play action. Also throw it to Stevens out of the backfield some here tonight. Got to keep this Sprayberry defense off balance a little bit. They've allowed 21 points a ball game this year. Not the strongest part of their game. The back end is solid. They've got some good linebackers, as we said, that fly around. But it is a defense that you can put points up on.
Hayden Thompson in the slot, the 5'11", 200-pound tight end. This time he is a draw by Rhodes, and he's going nowhere. Back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 7 here for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Isaiah Abbey and number 29 there, Robert Matiag, the freshman, looked like combining on the hit right there. And, just one of those plays where they kind of squeezed down a little bit. They had trips to the near side, ran a man in motion to overload that side, but then they looked to run the option back to the other side. But Sprayberry wasn't having any of it and made a nice play over there.
An update from River Ridge. Amir Morrison with a 40-yard touchdown scamper. River Ridge up 7-0 over Kennesaw Mountain Mustangs here early. Rhodes in the pistol formation here. A bunch formation to the near side. And 1 wide receiver to the top. That's Cloy. Turns around, talks to Stevens. Play clock winding down. looks Rhodes' way, and now it's fired outside. That's to Vaccaro, and he lowers his shoulder, but he's going nowhere. Maybe a loss of 1 or 2, and it's a loss of 2 as it's 4th and 9 as the Grizzlies are stood up yet again and decision time.
Yeah, 20th reception for A.J. Vaccaro. They like him more out of the backfield as a pass option, even though he's had a few rushes this year. But, yeah, as you said, Will, just a loss of 2 yards there. So they tried to swing it out to him out of the backfield on a quick hitter, and the blocking just wasn't there. A nice job by Sprayberry in pursuit to get upfield. They were playing tight on the corner, so there wasn't a lot of room for error on that play. Creekview just couldn't execute.
So Dawson Curry once again is the punter, which lends itself to some trickeration. And he does a little short kick here. Let's see if they're able to pooch it. And a punt, good punt. Let's see where they finally mark it. 15, we're watching the referee walk, and he will stop. Oh, boy, still walking. Finally done at the 23-yard line. Creekview fans don't agree. And it's only a 12-yard punt from Dawson Curry.
I was going to say he was angling for the corner there, but he kicked it off the side of his foot. And, again, just not as well placed as he would have liked to have had it right there. But still, nonetheless, at least you make those guys drive there a little bit. But, no points on that drive, Will, for Creekview, but still an impressive drive. They were still able to get some field position after a 3-and-out. You're looking for anything positive. They were able to move the chains a couple of different times there, so now they have some momentum. Now it's that defense. They've got to find some pressure right here in this run game. Look for them to maybe dial up a little run blitz or something right here to slow Owens.
See what they do here. Turn around, it's a handoff to Owens once again. Sam Minosi's there, as well as Chase Disney to finally wrap him up, and that play is going nowhere. A gain of 1 is what they'll mark it as, so 2nd and 9, and stopped right at the 25-yard line.
Dave Garner must be right in Coach Vavra's Coach Williams' playbook, because there's a little bit of a run blitz right there to slow down Owens. Last drive, Sprayberry did something we haven't seen anybody do, really, is take the ball and run it right down Creekview's throat. Let's see what adjustments they've made after that first drive here.
3 wide receivers to the top, Brown and Owens in the backfield. Claps his hands, surveys, it's a pass. And he attempts it out over the middle, and I believe he was finally able to catch it. And it is complete out across the middle. That was once again intended for, I believe that's Bush once again on the reception, number 6.
Yeah, Josh Bush, the senior, with his first grab of the night. And, I think Creekview knows they've got to stop the run. I think Sprayberry knows that, and so they want to try to open things up just a little bit here. They have the athletes to get out on the edge and throw some short passes and try to keep this Creekview defense off balance, and we saw it right there with the first down pass.
4 wide receivers split out this time. That's Bush sent in motion, but it's a handoff to Owens, but there's going to be a stop and play. It's a false start against Sprayberry, so push them back after they got the first down. And it'll be 1st and 15 with 4 minutes and 14 seconds left to go. Once again, guys, River Ridge up 7-0 over there as they're just up the road here. So the 2 Cherokee County teams in action here are River Ridge and Creekview in county.
Yeah, hopefully we will see those guys in round 2. I know the Knights obviously have had a great year, as you guys talked about, in the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show tonight. River Ridge coach Michael Collins, what a job he's done with those guys tonight. They're off to a good start.
See what Sprayberry does here. It's a pass. Peyton Parker's right in his face, gets blocked, and he's rumbling outside, and he fires it downfield, but just into the middle of nowhere. Creekview fans wanting a block in the back, and probably should have got one, but nonetheless falls harmlessly to the turf. 2nd and 15.
Yeah.
Dave, it's probably two penalties that the Zebras have missed so far. A holding on the first drive, I thought we were able to see pretty well with a handful of jersey, and this time a little bit of a blatant block in the back. But I think these Creekview fans think they get every call, and that's just not the case here.
There's a lot of officials here tonight on both sides.
Let's try this one again. 2nd and 15, 3 wide receivers split out, a tight end and a running back joining Brown in the backfield. It's a survey deep, and it's just overthrown. That pass was once again intended for number 1. That is Fatir Muhammad, the leading receiver for this team, with 27 receptions, 521 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Well, they're going after Nick Stewart, the senior, and I don't know why. I mean, obviously he's played well this year, 2 interceptions, but they like that matchup, with Hefner against Stewart. They've already thrown 2 long balls to him. One was a completion that set up a 1st and goal, and this time, Kyle Brown just overthrew him up against the near sideline.
Taylor Cox-Young, the sophomore, 5'10", 150-pound defensive back, is on the opposite end of the side here. 3 wide receivers to the top. Sprayberry loads back for a pass, and Sam Minosi's right in his face, and he slips off a 1, but not 2. Sam Minosi and Isaac Huber bring him down way back, a loss of 20-plus yards. It's going to be 17 yards. So 4th and 32 here for the Sprayberry Jackets as they get pushed way back on a field-flipping play.
Well, Kyle Brown's got to get that football out of his hand and not take such a big sack. He just kept going back, and as we talked about, Sam Nosey, 10.5 sacks this year, leads the team amongst the leaders in the county and the region for that matter, and had all kinds of pressure with he and Hubert there, and Brown just had nowhere to go, and he ate it all the way back inside the 15.
This is this team's 44th sack of the year. Punt is back. He's standing in his own end zone, gets it off. Not a good punt at all. And this one dies right at the 25, bounces 30. And luckily for the Jackets, it's going to bounce all the way out to the 34-yard line, but Creekview has great territory. The 32. A 23-yard punt.
Well, Archie, you got to think right here, Grizzlies got to get some points out of this, right?
You do. Basically that drive was a wash from last drive. You got down to the 35. You had a 17, 12-yard punt. Now you get the ball back at the 33-yard line. I would imagine they take a shot here, look to open the Sprayberry defense up. I have not really seen anything from Sprayberry that scares me defensively. I think Creekview's calling maybe a game just not to make enough mistakes. They're going to have to open up that playbook a little bit and put the pressure on Sprayberry. Let's see if they do it right here.
2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go. The ball on the 34-yard line. Dawson Curry, Andrew Cloy to the near side here. Brody Rhodes joined alongside Tyler Stevens in the backfield. Fake the handoff to Stevens. Good pass rush up the middle. Rhodes surveys over the middle. He's got Cloy, but great defensive closing speed by the defensive back out there, trying to get you a number on that. I believe.
Yeah, they're hard to see.
Number
here
10.
Yeah, that was Robinson
Jerome.
right there. Yeah, and Jerome Robinson Jr. He's got 4 interceptions as well. And, like we said, between he and Somerville playing in the back end of that defense, there's not a lot that gets over their head. And that time, Robinson just made a great break on the ball and nearly picked that ball off at the 5-yard line. But I do like the aggressiveness, though, of the play call. Grizzlies taking a shot down the field here, trying to loosen them up a little bit.
Instead, the ball falls harmlessly to the turf and sets up 2nd and 10. This time it's a handoff to Stevens off the left-hand side. Makes a couple people miss, but will finally fall down after a gain of about 4. And they are out across the 29-yard line. They'll mark him officially at the 30, so a gain of 4 there. 3rd and 6.
I think depending on what happens right here on this play, it could be 4-down territory, not simply because of where we're at in the game. Obviously, it's early, but, you've had 3 different place kickers this year. Castine came in, did a great job last week, 2 of 2 on PATs, 1 of 1 on field goal attempts there, but not sure what his range is. But I would say if they get close enough, if they get close to the 25 and it's 4th and 2, I'd say they probably go for it right here, but we'll see what happens on this 3rd down play.
See what they're able to draw up here. 4 wide receiver split, trips to the bottom. Creekview working from left to right across your radio dial. Fakes the handoff to Stevens, surveys, good pass rush, and Sprayberry's going to bring him down. So he gets back to the line of scrimmage. It looks like maybe a loss of just 1, so Rhodes doing a little bit of damage control, but let's see what they decide to do here. 4th and 7 from the 31 as the clock is winding under 2 minutes here in the first quarter.
Well, that's what you didn't need right there. You didn't want to take a loss on that play because now it's a long field goal attempt or maybe a short, quick kick, or, it looks like they're just going to keep the offense on the field, maybe just take a shot here. And, you don't really give up a whole lot of field position if you don't make it, so it looks like that's what they're going to do.
Once again, the Grizzlies started this from the 34-yard line, so had great field position to open up, only at the 31 now, 4th and 7. 1 wide receiver to the bottom, 2 guys in the backfield joining alongside Brody Rhodes and a tight end in the formation. Fakes the handoff, and he's going out over the middle, and that's going to be intercepted, I believe, and it is.
Yep.
So it's just a intentional punt, intentional interception is what I would call it, a throwing punt. That's Summerall on the interception. That's his 5th of the season.
Yeah, if he was smart, he probably would let that ball drop. But, when you're back there in that secondary and you see that gift, I don't think there's any way you're going to get him to drop the football. And so I guess, we asked Creekview to open it up. They did. Not successful on first down. They go to the run. Like you said, Brody Rhodes takes a sack. Probably needs to look at trying to bounce that ball outside a little bit more when he's in the pocket. But Sprayberry pinned against their own end zone right here.
Arm punt. They're down at the 3-yard line here. Still in the spread offense. Handoff off the right-hand side here. And he's cut down after a gain of about 3. So they did get it out of their end zone by a little bit. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 6-yard line.
Yeah, made a nice little move there. Chase Disney came up, made the tackle, but Owens was able to get through a little bit of a hole right there, pick up a couple yards, get out of the shadow there. 4 yards is inside a minute here this first quarter. 7-0 game right now, Will. Sprayberry opening drive, but then on the last drive they went out, 3, so maybe Creekview can get the ball back right here to start the second quarter.
See what they're able to do here. Handoff this time, once again, up the middle. and he's going to be brought down in the open field. A good open field tackle by number 1. That's Cale Williams, but it'll be enough for a first down, so move the chains after another great run by DeMarion Owens.
When you got an offensive line that's averaging up over 280 and 307-pound center, your bookends are 290. I mean, you've got Cobb over there, left tackle, 6'4", 290. I mean, they've got some meat up there, and that's obviously their game plan. They've done it all year long. They're going to get behind that big line and make you stop them.
See if they decide to snap it here. 5 seconds left, and they do snap it. It'll be the final play of the quarter. It's a handoff. That's to the other running back, and he fights forward to the 20-yard line. So a gain of about 4, and that's the end of the first here at the Grizzly Den. Our score is 7-0 in favor of the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets. We'll take a 30-second break, and when we come back, we'll bring you the second quarter of high school football.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
You're listening to WLJA FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1 LJ, Jasper, Canton, Woodstock, and all of North Georgia.
You just heard the voice of Ace of Spades Jones back on Master Controls, making us sound so good here on a lovely Friday night here at Creekview High School. We do want to say hello to all of our friends driving through the holiday lights up here at Veterans Park. Sorry to interrupt the Christmas cheer. I promise that we're in just as much of a Christmas mood as the rest of you may be, but we do have a little bit of business to take care of. So hopefully, maybe if you can't find a CD in the car, you can just hang out and listen to us while you're there, as we will do our best to keep you entertained. But in case you need a little update, Sprayberry up 7-0 over Creekview as we start the second quarter. They split sides, so Sprayberry will be working from left to right across your radio dial from now on. And it is 2nd and 5, ball on the 20-yard line. Sprayberry, this time it's a handoff to Abby off the left-hand side, and a good open field tackle. I believe that was number 31, Nick Stewart, who came up to make the tackle.
Yeah, Abby had a good run right there at the end of the quarter, picked up 5 yards on a play that was, first contact was made in the backfield. These backs are hard to bring down. We talked about Abby coming in. I mean, Owens obviously the headliner at over 1,000 yards, but, Abby's a guy, Isaiah Abbey, a junior that runs the ball hard as well. That time just trying to turn the corner, but Creekview did a nice job of setting the edge there and not giving up a play, and so now they've forced the 3rd and 5 and a golden opportunity to maybe get off the field right here.
See if they're able to do it. Hasn't been super successful on 3rd down so far. See if they decide to bring a little pressure here on what could be considered a passing down. They only bring 4, and it's going to be attempted to be completed, but a good coverage there by Nick Stewart as they attempted to go to Fatir Muhammad once again, but it falls harmlessly to the turf, and they will be forced to punt from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, just the first or second target for Fatir Muhammad, the leading receiver on the team. 27 grabs for 521 yards, 19.3 per grab and 6 touchdowns. But so far the Grizzlies have done a nice job of, doubling down a little bit on number 1. That's left Hefner, a couple times one-on-one with Nick Stewart, but they're 1-1 in that matchup here tonight. Big job right there, starting out, on the 2-yard line. Creekview falling right now on the scoreboard 7-0, but starting to win the battle of field position.
They are. Dawson Curry in the backfield, a little bit of a routine punt here over the middle. It's caught by Dawson Curry, was not fair caught, I don't believe. And he is brought down right at the 39-yard line, so a great punt there by Sprayberry.
Yeah, that was a nice one there by, I believe that was Ballin, or Pablo Gonzalez. And a little rugby-style kick right there. I thought he was going to take off and run for a second. I mean, if you're Creekview, you got to be careful about the fakes here tonight. But, that was just a line drive kick, but good coverage. That rugby-style kick really allows your guys to get down there in coverage. And once Curry caught that ball, even though it was a line drive kick, he had, a face full of white shirts in front of him with nowhere to go.
38-yard punt there. We'll go over some first quarter stats after this snap here. They have 4 wide receivers split out wide, 1 tight end. So pretty much as empty of a look as you're going to get from Creekview. Shotgun formation for Rhodes. Sends a man in motion. That's Hayden Thompson. And it's a draw by Rhodes right up the middle, and it's going to be a gain of about 2, 2nd and 8. Sprayberry had 18 plays, 85 total yards, 12 rushes on the day, 36 rush yards, 3 of 6 through the air for 49 yards, 6 first downs, and a time of possession of 6 minutes and 53 seconds. And the important part, 7 points on the board. Creekview 11 plays for 20 total yards, tried it 6 times on the ground for 22 yards, only 1 of 5 passing with negative 2 yards through the air, 1 first down, one turnover that was intentional, but 5 minutes and 7 seconds time of possession for the Grizzlies. And that is the final stats for the first quarter, at least.
Yeah, man, not a whole lot of offense for the Grizzlies. We'll see if they can get things turned around. And in the quarterback dive, on 1st and 10, only picking up a couple yards. Got to see if we can get it downfield here.
Bunch formation to the top. Rhodes is going to bootleg it out to the outside. An attempt for Vaccaro, but that's going absolutely nowhere. Going to be a loss of about 2. So instead of a plus play, it's going to be 3rd and 11. They seem to be confused about which way their end zone is.
Well, and that was actually a lateral. That was behind the line there. So I'm wondering if they weren't trying to set up a double pass, but Sprayberry just was up so much, in tight there on the coverage that, again, Vaccaro had to go up. That ball wasn't really, right on the money where it needed to be for Rhodes, and Vaccaro had to climb the ladder to get it. And by the time he actually gained coverage of it, he just had nowhere to go.
3rd and 11 here from the 41-yard line. Rhodes turns around, has a conversation with Stevens. 2 wide receivers, that's Cloy and Curry. Hayden Thompson, the tight end. It's a pass all the way. Good pressure up the middle, but it's going to be completed to Dawson Curry over the middle. Completed up to the, they're finally marking him down at the 36-yard line. Move those chains. That's enough for a first down as Creekview is in plus territory.
Yeah, Joshua Fitch that time had the coverage there. The corner came all the way across the field there with Curry. And Curry was able to just wrestle that ball away for a big gain. That was a perfectly thrown pass there by Brody Rhodes, who, of course, threw an interception to end that last drive there, just throwing the ball up. So got to have a short memory as a quarterback. This time he delivers a perfect ball. Curry goes up, secures the grab, brings it to the ground, first down.
Chase McNeil checks into the game for A.J. Vaccaro here, as they are now in plus territory. Ball at the 37-yard line. Rhodes, 2 wide receivers. This time it's going to be a fake handoff to Stevens, and Rhodes keeps it up the middle. A good run there. A gain of about 5 or 6, depends where they mark him, but 2nd and 4.
Yeah, I'd like to see Creekview continue to go north and south here. The east to west plays really kind of getting them in trouble. Great pickup by Rhodes that time on a handoff. And hey, look, we know they want to get the ball to Stevens to set up that play action a little bit, but that's not working. So you get your quarterback to stick his nose in there, and this time he's able to get 5 yards.
Absolutely. Sometimes the best defense is your offense in a game like this. I mean, Sprayberry, as we talked about, averaging 38.8 points a ball game, but right now they're sitting on the sideline. It's a 7-0 ball game here. A few minutes into the second quarter, the longer Creekview stays out there, wears this defense down, the more I like the Grizzlies.
Rhodes turns around, handoff to Stevens this time. And he's going to be real close to the first down marker. Cut down about a yard short, so 3rd and manageable here for the Grizzlies. And one of the first times we've called Tyler Stevens' name tonight.
Yeah, probably his best run of the night, 4 or 5 yards. But that's what you need right there. 3rd and 1, you're on schedule. Even if you don't make it right here, I mean, you probably line up and quick snap it again and, pick up the first down. And got to keep that defense on the field, keep that offense over on the sideline as we talked about here. Trailing 7-0, but moving the ball. Their last 2 drives have been, basically inside the Sprayberry 30.
Rhodes turns around, and it's a handoff not to Stevens, but Hayden Thompson that time, and he's going to fall forward for a gain of 2. Move those chains. That's enough for a first down. The tight end takes it up the middle. 5'11", 200 pounds, hard to bring down with only a yard to get.
Yeah, they really like him at the H-back spot. Of course, they list him as a tight end, but he can line up and play fullback as well. He's a guy that can open up some holes, but he's a big guy to bring down, too, if you decide to give him the football. Doesn't have a lot of touches this year, but he's a guy that, because of his size and his strength, you try to find ways to get the football in his hand, and that time they did. Short yardage play right there. They bring the H-back over, give him the ball, and he dives forward.
A.J. Vaccaro will line up as a wide receiver at the top. Andrew Cloy and Dawson Curry, the other 2 wide receivers. Hayden Thompson, the tight end. Tyler Stevens, the running back. Brody Rhodes, of course, the quarterback. This time it's a fake handoff, and it's fumbled. Rhodes looks like he fell back on it, and he did, so crisis averted. It'll be a loss of 2, 2nd and 12.
Yeah, Jaden Edmonds almost pounced on that ball there, but, boy, a little miscommunication on the exchange.
Miscommunication on the exchange, and also –
that was number 21 on the carry there. Don't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah.
But that was Isaac Hubert, the defensive end, who came in. So it wasn't Tyler Stevens, excuse me. So somebody who normally doesn't play offense, maybe getting a little bit confused there.
No doubt. And that Sprayberry defense, very quick off the ball that time, in the backfield almost before Hubert got his hands on it, and cause a little disruption on that handoff there. Fortunately for the Grizzlies, it's 2nd down.
Well, they tried the trickeration, so they're going back to the tried and true. Tyler Stevens in the backfield with Rhodes. Rhodes going to bootleg out to the side, pressure right in his face, and I believe that was completed out to A.J. Vaccaro in space. And, excuse me, that was Tyler Stevens on the reception, but it didn't matter. It was blown up immediately by Donovan Brew, the senior 6'1", 195-pound middle linebacker with 72 tackles and 6.5 sacks for the Yellow Jackets as the Grizzlies are pushed to 3rd and 16.
Yeah, well, like we said a while ago, you don't drop an interception on purpose. You're not taught to do that. That time Tyler Stevens would have been good just to swat that ball down because he made the catch, but he lost 5 yards. So, yeah, you're right, Will. 3rd and, better part of 20 right here, and now we'll have to see what the Grizzlies dial up to maybe try to get back into field goal range if nothing else.
Andrew Cloy, the only wide receiver, 2 tight end formation, 1 running back. Rhodes fakes the handoff, surveys. He's looking Cloy's way. It's double covered out there. And did he catch that? What a incredible catch. Wow, one-on-one coverage with Jerome Robinson. Climbs the ladder and catches it. My goodness, he's down to the 2-yard line. Move those chains. The Grizzlies are in business.
Boy, Jaden Edmonds back there as well. Double coverage, but Cloy just using that big 6'2", 190-pound frame to climb the ladder and go up and get that ball at its highest point, which is where they tell you to catch the football. And that looked reminiscent of that DeAndre Hopkins catch on the Hail Mary.
It certainly did. Hey, great to have Andrew Cloy back again. You got confidence to throw that pass when you have a receiver like Cloy who can make a great athletic play on the ball here. Now 1st and goal.
This time it's a handoff to Hayden Thompson. He's met by the center, and he's going to rumble forward real close. Is he in? And he's marked at the quarter-yard line. He was in by a mile, but the referees say that he is stopped at the 1-inch line. So Creekview will have to set up here on 2nd down from the goal line.
Well, it was awfully close, but the one thing I love about it is they brought in the bigger physical guy here in Hayden, giving him the football and saying, look, this is a big defensive line, big offensive line, as we know, on both sides of the ball for Sprayberry. Let's wear them down. Let's put meat on meat right here, and let's see if we can force some collisions and get this guy in the end zone, and that's exactly what Hayden did right there. Just about got in there.
Brody Rhodes, the quarterback, turned around, handoff to Tyler Stevens. He's in. Touchdown, Creekview. 6-7 here on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard, pinning the extra point, and Creekview answers just as soon as they can.
Once again, like Dave said, Creekview just putting meat on meat and getting to the end zone there for the 1-yard touchdown run, the answer. And finally, after that field position had been flipped, the Grizzlies showing a lot of life. And again, Sprayberry had a big play from their wide receiver. Creekview answering with their wide receiver to get him down at the goal to the goal line. And 2 run plays, they punch it in.
Right you are. Number 35 back to kick. That is once again, as we mentioned, J.D. Castine. The kick is up and blocked by Sprayberry, and it is no good. And there's a flag down, so we'll have to see what's going on here. Maybe jumped a little bit early because they got right on that ball, but let's wait and see what the Zebras have to say.
Well, Castine, he didn't get under that ball. He kind of kicked it into the line. It wasn't a hard block, but I'm wondering if maybe Sprayberry came across here. Maybe he'll give him another opportunity because they're staying on the field right here, Will.
And it is. It is against Sprayberry, so there will be a re-kick try. It's a personal foul of some kind.
So it must have been rough in the center. You're not allowed to
trying to jump over, right, yep, line it up over the snapper.
So we got a little bit of a preview of that last week as A.J. Swan was a long snapper for Cherokee, and Wisely was just out of the way for most part. Didn't have to try and make any tackles for them, so good news for Cherokee. Score was still 0-0 last time we checked over there. The North Gwinnett defense showing out. Vaughn Brown keeping us updated over there. Vaughn, hope you're feeling good, buddy. And, of course, we want you back as soon as possible. I've been pretty nice to you so far. So
It's early.
It's early. It's early. Hey, if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, Friday Nights at the Tavern's the podcast that Arthur Mosley and Vaughn Brown do. It's a great podcast, keeps you updated on everything, and if you get tired of listening to the Nerds talk, me and Dave have a Sports Blitz podcast that is much, much, much more condensed and much, much, much more fun. You can find that on WLJRadio.com/The Sports Blitz. So let's see what they can do on the re-kick as they move it up a full yard. Castine, once again, will be there. Snap is good, hold is good, the kick is up, and it's through. So Creekview does indeed tie it. It is 7-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. Let's take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll bring you some more high school football action.
At Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet, we don't have locations across the country. Our stores are right here in Georgia. Our customers aren't numbers, they're neighbors. Your kids probably go to school with our kids, and chances are your furniture is our furniture. So the next time you're thinking new living room, dining room, bedroom or new mattress. Think Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet, Georgia's furniture and mattress superstore. For nearly 30 years, locally owned, Georgia grown.
That last drive by Creekview, 11 total plays, 58 yards, 8 rushes for 10 yards, 3 of 3 through the air, a 48-yard passing total there, as one of those was a huge catch by Andrew Cloy right at the 2-yard line, and it is enough with 6 minutes and 54 seconds take off from the clock, and that is enough to tie it up here 7-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update.
Now, you know, as Larry Prather would say, it's not always about the X's and the O's, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, and Hayden Thompson, you know, just one-on-one right there. As we talked about, and they want to put him right on the goal line and put him in some situations where someone else has to try to tackle him.
Ty Hubert, the kicker for Creekview, doing the kickoff duty. Toe meets leather, and it'll fall at about the 25-yard line, but no return there, much of one anyway. I believe that was fielded by the upback number 12 for Sprayberry.
I believe that was Kobe Summerall.
Yeah. Got it.
Getting what he can get and then getting out of bounds before he paid the price on that one.
Well, here's another Larryism. Somerville just made an executive decision right there up against that sideline. He didn't initiate contact there. He got a couple yards and stepped out.
Well, it looks like the Creekview players have been eating some biscuits as it's over the Thanksgiving holiday, so up their weights by about 5 pounds. But if you look at Dave Garner, you can up his weight by 50 pounds based on what he tells you.
Speaking of meat on meat, there you go.
There you Three wide receivers to the top. One running back in the formation. Claps his hands, gives it off. A run up the middle there, but a good stop by the Creekview defense. A gain of only 2 there, so a win for Creekview. And 2nd and 8 set up. Well, they're going to give him 3 there, a generous 3. So 2nd and 7, ball marked at the 33-yard line.
You know, Will, you kind of feel like Creekview had to have something good happen to get them in this ball game. And ever since that touchdown, you can see the momentum has kind of changed a little bit. They just needed that one breakthrough play. And I think that catch by Andrew Cloy, the captain, who's missed the majority of the season, coming back, making that grab, you can tell this entire sideline has completely been lifted, as well as this home crowd tonight.
3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and the running back. This time it's a handoff. And it ball's loose, and they're going to mark him down. So the ball came out at the very end there, so it's going to be a loss of 1. It looked loose before, and there's an injured player down, and it looks pretty serious.
Oh, and that's Owens.
Yeah, that's Owens down. I think that ball came out right. It looks like he's grasping at his ankle or his knee. We don't want to speculate here, but not a good look.
He got twisted up in there for sure.
So an injured player there, and this one looks pretty serious. So we'll go ahead and step away for 1 minute, and when we come back, we'll bring you some more high school football action. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Welcome back to the Cherokee County Game of the Week. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM. We have a pause and play here as an injured player is down. That is the running back for the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets who was on that previous carry, Damian Owens, the senior who's the rushing leader for this team, but also one of the captains for this team. So obviously not a good sign there, as they have already put the air cast on the leg. We don't want to speculate, and we won't. But obviously our thoughts and prayers are with that young man, as it looked like a pretty immediate reaction from the Creekview players that something was wrong. So they're having a meeting there to try and help that young man. But while we have your attention, we're going to go over some different score updates that we have for you. And we're going to do our best to update you not only on the Cherokee County games, but also the games that matter if they were to advance.
Yeah, and, I don't know, do you have a good Von Brown impersonation?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't know if I have a good Von Brown. Let me see what I got.
Let me clarify.
Okay.
There's no such thing as good or Von Brown in the same sentence.
Right.
So,
well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I can give it a shot here.
Go for it.
Hey, guys, no score at North Gwinnett so far. Cherokee just recovered a fumbled punt. But, Vaughn is all in good fun. We love Vaughn.
You guys love
Vaughn. Vaughn is actually doing a good job updating us tonight. He is updating us remotely. We've got different folks in the field at some of the other games. But word is Cherokee's got negative 40 yards of offense at the end of the first quarter in a 0-0 ball game. So that's certainly not a good sign for them. And it looks like River Ridge tied up 7-7 was the last score that we had.
Well, it's 14-7 over there right now. So River Ridge has added a point back there. For the Creekview faithful here who might be listening, I got some bad news for you. Carrollton up 35-0 over Winder Barrow in the second quarter. So
I didn't give Winder Barrow much choice coming into that game against Carrollton, and I mean obviously the Trojans have a lot of playoff pedigree. You know they've been there about every year, it looks like the winner of this game will be on the road next week.
On the road to Carrollton. And Carrollton, we talked about their offense. They've got one of the best linebackers in the country, and a guy by the name of Chaz Chambliss, who I'm sure that whoever wins this game will have their hands full dealing with Coach Calhoun's Carrollton Trojans over there. But nevertheless, we first got to take care of business here, and while we're still Owens is still being attended to here on the field here at the 32-yard line. So once our thoughts and prayers with him right now.
Absolutely.
Because the guy was having a great game and just been a 1,000-yard rusher in 9 games. So that speaks to his talent. And we know Coach Vavra's over there kind of hoping the best for his star running back.
Yeah, and this can work one of two ways for Sprayberry. I mean, this can be a deflating thing, if they let it become that way, or it may be something that motivates them, because we've already seen Isaiah Abbey with a couple of nice carries in the game as well. Now, he will presumably carry the bulk of the work moving forward, with 3:30 left here in the second quarter in a 7-7 ball game. But, we'll have to see how Sprayberry responds to this. I think that's the biggest thing for them is what they're going to do with this.
Well, Dave, back in last year when we were working the East Coweta-Etowah game, it was something very similar to this where their quarterback ended up with a fractured leg at the end of the game. And, East Coweta was able to rally back and beat Etowah there.
2 scores down late in the fourth quarter. You're right.
So, that was kind of their rallying cry, so something to keep an eye on. And just some other scores around the area for you. Rome up 14-7 over Habersham Central right now. So if you're a River Ridge fan, it doesn't really matter who wins that. You're more of just looking at matchups. You're going to be home anyway as long as you take care of business against Kennesaw Mountain. So just something to keep your eye on over there. And the opposite end of the spectrum, West Forsyth up 18-0. So kind of a Creekview-esque score going on over there as they're up over Meadow Creek, who they were pretty heavily favored against, but West Forsyth the first seed. So if Cherokee was able to advance past North Gwinnett, you have to feel like a trip to West Forsyth is a little bit more friendly than a trip to North Gwinnett. And listen, this is a Cherokee team that we talked about on the Sports Blitz, went on the road and ended up playing, against Westlake in the first round last year and was able to pull out the victory there. It wasn't until they met Archer, who they lost to in the second round, unfortunately. But so far in this one, it's looking pretty good for the Warriors. Obviously, as we mentioned, the offense not doing so good, but we'll keep you updated on that score as it looks like they are loading up the stretcher to take him off in the ambulance here provided by the Cherokee County Emergency Services.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, like we talked about. I mean, that young man, as Art was saying, has had a great year, over 1,000 yards, 8.5 a touch, 15 touchdowns. Of course, coming into the game tonight, had one in the first quarter, so 16. But, anytime they put that air cast on and they're attending to him right now, still down on the field, I mean, that's just not a good sign. And you could tell, that ball, the way he got twisted around, as Ronnie was saying, kind of taking the numbers and, of course, spotting a little bit here tonight. I mean, obviously he got twisted around enough that he put the football on the ground. I don't necessarily think it was punched out. I think it's just the pain of the body twisting the way it did. And that ball comes, falling out of there. Creekview nearly fell on it. Sprayberry was able to get back on it, so they'll have a 3rd and 7 when play resumes. But like I said, you've got to wonder how they're going to respond from this. As you talked about, the East Coweta-Etowah game last year in the first round, and it'll be interesting to see. The one thing I will say is for Sprayberry, when you look down, their depth chart, they play a lot of different guys deep, in the running game. They've had, 9 different guys run the ball this year. They've had about 11 different guys catch the football this year, so they use a lot of different players. This is a fairly deep lineup for Coach Brett Favre and the Yellow Jackets. And so I would suspect it's hard to replace a guy like Owens, who's your team captain, like you said, Will, but they do have the personnel over there to match up. So if you're Creekview, you can't, obviously your thoughts and prayers are with them. Guys are being respectful. Everyone's on a knee right now. But at the same time, if you're defense for Creekview, you can't lose focus and think, okay, just because this guy may not be returning to the lineup doesn't mean they don't have another guy right behind him that's going to be just as good, just as effective. So just like Sprayberry's got to react to this, so does Creekview. They've got to be able to match that intensity and keep it up as if Owens were still in the ballgame.
Yeah, let's take a 1-minute break here as they load them up. When we come back, we'll bring you some more high school football action. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving a 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity, member FNIRA and SIPC. Welcome back to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. You just heard the voice of Arthur Mosley there as we were discussing Dave's use of colorful language. Not colorful language in the bad way, but just his ability to paint a picture like no one else can, really, an artist with the words.
You've been dogging me for, let's see, when did we start the season? 1st of September. Give me a hard time. So hey, you're due a little bit. You're due a little bit of embarrassment.
I don't want people to think that I took it easy on you on the off season, by the way.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's year-round for you folks listening at home or wherever you may be.
So let's clarify this, right? Just so people know who are driving through the holiday lights right now. If you're over there, thank you for tuning in. It's Creekview and Sprayberry. They're tied 7-7, 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first half, second quarter here. Unfortunately, an injury to a player has looked pretty serious, so they're loading him up on the stretcher. So we're just trying to keep things a little bit light here as we will have a whole bunch of football to bring you, but so far in this one. But, Dave, as much as we go back and forth, it is important for people to know that outside of this, we are actually friends, and I don't actually hate you, although that feeling might not be reciprocated back.
It sounds like he's backpedaling a little bit right here.
Is he getting
nervous? I don't know. Ronnie.
Oh, there's no backpedaling. Wait a minute.
We don't have Vaughn here tonight, so it's not.
Well, I was wondering why
100% turn the tables on.
Well, look, with Vaughn not being here, I was sitting here thinking, why is it so quiet? But then I remembered why.
Well, exactly.
So Vaughn not being here.
He's
right. So,
but that's why we need to figure. And we talked about this with Asa in the offices, being able to call in.
Yeah.
If we could ever have it to where we could have Vaughn call in to some, when he's not here, he can still call in.
Well, look, especially with somebody as talented as DJ Shark in the building. You have to wonder.
That's true, exactly.
How we're not able to do this more often.
That's right.
So, Dave's surname back in the day was DJ Shark.
Oh, you
so, in case you weren't aware of that,
we've gone through the Wayback Machine to pull that one out.
I was going to say, and all that got started. We were talking about music, and we grew up in a different era, than the Golden Boy over there.
Yeah, we did.
So, Art knows what I'm talking about, and so, it came up in a conversation. We talk a lot during the week, for those that don't know, and so we've had a lot of interesting conversation throughout the year. But, Will's right. No, we are friends outside the broadcast, but thankfully. That's the only way you can get away with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And it probably helps tonight that I'm right in between Will and Dave.
That's what we strategically placed you there.
And the good thing about Art is, as I mentioned, I've made fun of his lack of personality and all that good stuff before, and I won't do it again. It's too easy, just like Dave is. But I think over the long term, it's one of those things where, Art is one of the best in keeping us all somewhat professional here, as he obviously runs the prestigious of all websites, really, that you can find in Cherokee County. The Turd Ferguson Report is nothing short of top-notch material. I know he's had some offers from ESPN and CBS to write a little bit for them, and he's turned it down. Obviously, the Turd Ferguson Report bank account's a little bit deeper than ESPN or CBS right now, so can't blame him for that one, of course. But we expect him to pack up and leave Cherokee County, especially after all the hate that he's received this year. And Von Brown, noticeably not here, most likely because he is currently groveling at the feet of the River Ridge Knights.
Yeah, I'm thinking Barstool maybe, or
Barstool would be
Bleacher
good.
Report.
Well, the thing about Barstool is you do have to have a
things.
little bit of a personality. You have to have a sense of humor somewhere in there.
Wow, and I don't have a sense
Yeah,
of humor.
Unfortunately for you, Art, you don't possess it.
You can't just piggyback and laugh on other people's jokes.
Is that what it is? So I need to start making my own material. My dad jokes don't work. I mean, that's what my kids would say. I think they're listening now. So I do want to say a quick hello to my boys, Henry and Isaac, and my beautiful wife Hillary back at home, who. They laugh. I think they laugh at me for mercy. I think that's what it is. I think you're right, Will. I mean, zero personality, nothing to like about me at all. And
it's a good thing you look so good.
Well, I tell you what, I guess I have a face for
TV
and a voice for
radio, and a personality for neither.
For podcasting, for blogging. That's
blogging.
It.
Yeah.
That's
you're a master on the keyboard there.
Hey, score update, guys. Yeah. Looks like Kennesaw Mountain's tied that game 14-all with a minute 36 left in the second quarter.
You know, Dave, this is something we talked about when we were there for this, or you weren't there. It was me and Art, actually. You were on one of your binge eating contests. And, Art and I were talking about it was 7-7 at the end of the first half. And we kind of felt like, River Ridge was one of those teams that really needed to kind of start early and fast in these playoff games. And so far, obviously nobody thinks that Kennesaw Mountain is an equal of a team as River Ridge, just with records and things like that. But the playoffs, things get funky sometimes, and especially when you consider that if you go into the locker room tied at 14, that's not a place you want to be if you're River Ridge and heavily favored.
Well, no, region champs this year as they you hear the applause there in the background for Demarion Owens, the senior running back, who is finally loaded up onto the stretcher here as we said our thoughts and prayers with that young man. But no, you're right, Will. I mean, River Ridge being a region champ, you expect a team that's the number one seed to kind of go out and, blow out whoever they're playing. But that's, just not the case. And we kind of see, how there's really a lot of parity, in these regions. I mean, from 1 through 4, there's not a ton of difference. And we're seeing that tonight. Kennesaw Mountain making their first ever, appearance in the playoffs, and you knew that they were going to be motivated and fired up, and younger squad that doesn't know any better. They're not going in with pressure. They're like, hey, the pressure's on River Ridge to take it to us. And so far, Kennesaw Mountain has played well, but I fully suspect the Knights, with their experience and pedigree and what they've done this year, to be able to come back in the second half and hopefully pull away.
Well, a classy act by Andrew Cloy, the captain for Creekview, going out to shake hands with Demarion Owens there, who was the representing captain for Sprayberry, giving his well wishes on behalf of the Creekview Grizzly coaching staff and team. So a very classy act by a Creekview team that is very one of those kind of classy teams as well. So, Creekview doing things right here, and obviously for Sprayberry moving forward, thoughts and prayers with that young man, as we mentioned. And as Dave went on about, it's one of those things where you have to look at and see, how Sprayberry responds and how Creekview doesn't want to get out physicality there, because coming into this game, one of the things that Coach Favara was talking about was the physicality of Creekview, as these are both teams that were in that Region 6-6A that produced Allatoona and Sprayberry and Harrison and Dalton and all these teams that in 2018 were such powerhouses, in 2019 even. There was a lot of physicality in this one, and you kind of saw the Cherokee County teams run away with that towards the end against these, other Fulton County teams moving forward. So, something to see if Creekview can maintain that physicality and not let it bully them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that, it's been a good draw. I mean, obviously we saw with Sequoia, unfortunately we thought they were in, they weren't.
Supposed to be.
Otherwise we would have had, and in a normal year they would have been in, as we talked about, on our podcast earlier this week. And but it is what it is. It's a product of COVID, 2020. And so, we'll see how the chips fall in the future. But I like the direction of these programs. The region, I think, has been good. And so we'll see moving forward now as both teams
have to
get ready to go into a warm-up period. Yep.
They will indeed. We'll take a 1-minute break with them. When we come back, we'll bring you some more high school football action. It's 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Our score here, 7-7 tied. We'll be back in 1 minute. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
In times of uncertainty, it's nice to know that there's still some things that are certain. Hi, I'm Dave Garner here, your local Woodman Life representative. I want to make sure that your family is protected with needs-based life insurance through Woodman Life. Life insurance has many benefits. It's not just something that's there when you pass. It's mortgage protection, family savings, debt relief, replacing lost income, and overall peace of mind. Some companies sell it because they have to. We sell it because it's what we do. Call for a free quote today or visit me online, and let's make certain that you're protected from today's uncertainty.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it.
The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
You just heard the laughter of Arthur Mosley here on WLJA 101.1 FM. It's a beautiful thing to hear some laughter from our good friend Art. Of course, we're not here to hear the laughter of Von Brown, most likely because he's sobbing at home that River Ridge claimed the region championship. In all seriousness, he's really a good guy and is obviously gives some bulletin board material to a few different teams, including River Ridge, who came in here and beat Creekview 20-17. Creekview has had their warm-up, and they're heading over back to the sideline, ready for this 3rd and 7 play, as these teams will have to pick back up where they left off with the Sprayberry football at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, score update right here. Cherokee up 7-6 just before the half, it looks like. So, again, Von Brown paying attention from afar, though, feeding us some score updates there. And, you know, the Warriors, as we talked about, a lot to be desired in the first half. You know, they were negative 40 yards of offense at one point at the end of the first quarter, but obviously have rebounded, put the ball in the end zone once, and they lead by a point. It looks like possibly heading into the locker room.
Well, it is important to note this is a team that overcame a 2nd and 76 that took place against Alpharetta. We're able to pull out that victory. So, obviously, one play doesn't dictate the game.
You're right.
But, you know, obviously, 2nd and 76, it does beg the question what was in the playbook. And then, obviously, whatever in the playbook didn't work is it was pushed to 3rd and 84 the following play. So,
yeah.
You know.
Well, that's a tough thing to overcome for sure. You know, you're talking about the River Ridge game. I mean, 14-14, a little bit of a surprise right there, as we know. This game, to me, though, 7-7 is kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything so far in this ball game as we get, you know, ready to go back to action right here with, 3.5 minutes before the Foundation Financial halftime show. Nothing really surprised me too much, but now the dynamic of this game changes with Demarion Owens out of the lineup, presumably the rest of the night. So let's see what happens right here personnel-wise and how the Grizzlies, how aggressive they are on defense coming out.
So let's see what they can do. 3 wide receivers split out here, turned around, and it's a handoff to the backup. And it was brought down a great open field tackle out there. I believe that was number 37 out there on the tackle. Cole Hasty, 5'11", 195-pound senior.
Yeah.
And a timeout taken by Creekview here with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. Only a gain of 1 there for Isaiah Abbey. As you mentioned, will be taking over the majority of the load, we suspect, with the injury to Demarion Owens. The junior is certainly not a small fellow, 6'1", 215. Came in with 77 carries, over 600 yards and 9 touchdowns. So not a backup running back by any stretch of the imagination, just a little different change of pace for them. So have to see how fresh he can be throughout this game.
Yeah, Cole Hasty coming off the edge right there, making a big play and tripping up Abbey, who just couldn't quite keep his feet, dove forward for a yard or so. But, he's obviously going to be the man the rest of the night, it looks like, offensively on the ground. And, Creekview, of course, doing a great job right there, burning the timeout. They've still got 2 left here to save that clock, 3:12 on there. They want to save as much clock as they can so that they have plenty of time to drive down the field and maybe take the lead before halftime.
Pablo Gonzalez, the kicker, back. And Dawson Curry and Andrew Coy both back to return this one. Creekview showing kind of a defense here. It's a bootleg kick out on the roll. Almost blocked, but he does get it away into Dawson Curry, who carries it upfield for just a couple of yards. He'll be marked at the 36-yard line where he finally ran out of bounds, and Creekview will take back over with 3 minutes and 4 seconds left to go. 7-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard.
I want to steal a page out of Larry Prather's book and say that Curry made an executive decision to get out of bounds before he paid the price that time. But look, Creekview, even before the Owens injury, doing a great job on 1st and 2nd down there on that last drive to hold them to a 3rd and long. And now they get the ball back. Like you mentioned, Dave, 3:04 left to play here in the half, and a chance to maybe see, I don't know if you really get crazy with the playbook here, but hey, maybe take a shot and see what you can get downfield to get some more points on the board to take a lead going into halftime.
A.J. Vaccaro will split out wide as a wide receiver. Haven't seen him much as a fullback, which is what he normally is designated as. That's been more of Hayden Thompson in the role tonight. Andrew Coy to the bottom, Dawson Curry in the slot. The mentioned Vaccaro in motion here. It's a pitch to him on the outside, and he's still on his feet, still bumbling forward. Looked dead to rights, but gets it out to about the 42-yard line. A good gain out there, a gain of about 7 yards. 2nd and 3.
Yeah, Jerome Robinson tried to come in there and strip the ball loose. The only problem was they were tackling the football and not the man. You know, they tried to rip the ball away, but no one had a hold of Vaccaro, who was able to break past the first level and tiptoe inside the numbers there and picked up about 6 yards there.
2 wide receivers to the top, 1 wide receiver to the bottom. The guy on the bottom is Andrew Cloy. Hayden Thompson in motion. Turned around, fakes the handoff, and Brody's going to keep it to the outside, and he's driven out of bounds. Going to be a gain of pretty much nothing. And it is a gain of nothing. 3rd and 3 coming up here for the Grizzlies.
Boy, Jaden Edmonds, just big pursuit right there. You know, we talked about these linebackers, and they really attack and get upfield, and that time Edmonds read that play all the way and was able to come up from the secondary spot there. He's a big safety that kind of plays like a linebacker. He's a hybrid guy, an in-betweener, and that time he just read that play perfectly and shoved Rhodes out near side.
Brody Rhodes here, 3 wide receivers split out wide. 1 man in the backfield with him, pistol formation. Barking out orders, he's going to motion 1 man back into the tight end position. Sprayberry showing blitz, and they bring it. Good protection. He loads up, fires over the middle. He's got a man. That was Cloy, but just too far out of the way. Good coverage by Sprayberry as well as the pressure got to Rhodes. 4th down and 4.
Yeah, good coverage. Yeah, back in Summerall and Edmonds were back there, but, you know, their press coverage, you know, one-on-one on the edge. So a good call there by Creekview to go one-on-one with Cloy, but he was just well covered in the back end. The deepest guy defensively for Sprayberry was only about 4 or 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. So, again, showing a lot of press up front, and it was a nice job by that offensive line to give Rhodes time to throw the ball. He just overthrew him.
Number 2 back for Sprayberry to return this kick, but he won't get a chance to as it'll die at the 30-yard line. Take a little bit of a Creekview bounce, but only about 2 more yards out of that one. We'll mark it at the 28-yard line. 2 minutes and 2 seconds left here to go. That timeout that Creekview took looming large as Sprayberry gets the ball back on their own 28.
Yeah, Donovan Broad actually on that last pass play for Sprayberry up in the face of Brody Rhodes late. Maybe caused a little bit of a disruption on that overthrow, but nevertheless, no harm, no foul. I'd like to see 2 minutes left. We thought the same thing. Maybe Creekview would take a shot. 2 plays after Owens is carted off the field, they go 2 runs. Let's see if they take a shot down the field here. We're 2-0-2, or if Coach Vavra is content to say, hey, you know, we're going to keep this ball and see what we can talk about at halftime.
Isaiah Abbey is the running back in the backfield with Brown. 4 wide receivers split out besides him. Low snap, fielded cleanly. Brown surveying, has a man out over the middle, but way too far out there. Falls harmlessly to the turf. That pass was intended for Josh Bush once again. And number 18 on the coverage, number 19, Ty Hubert on the coverage out there over the middle. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they decided to take a shot right there. Sprayberry has all 3 timeouts here with 1:57 to play, and you know, you had to wonder if they might try to come out and, you know, run the football a little bit, but I think at this point they've got a lot of chunks of yardage they have to pick up. So, you know, expect them to put the ball in the air a little bit right here, but good coverage by Creekview that time, and they're starting to finally get a little bit of pressure on Kyle Brown here.
Brown, once again, this time it's a handoff to Abbey. He rumbles forward, meets Isaac Hubert up there, a big man meeting a big man, and they go down to the turf evenly. Be a gain of about 6.
Abbey that time running the ball like he shot out of a cannon, doing his best Jordan McDonald imitation, but gain of 7 yards, but a big 3rd down here with just under a minute 30 left,
Brown slings it out to the outside, and it is incomplete. That pass was intended for the tight end, Danilio Frederick, who only has 6 receptions on 60 yards, but a touchdown on the year. And that brings up 4th down with 1:28 left here to go. Let's see what Sprayberry decides to do from their own 35.
And I think did Creekview just burn a timeout right there, I guess? Clock stopped?
No,
never mind. That's right. Yep, there we go.
So, still 2 timeouts for the Creekview Grizzlies.
Cherokee down 9-7 at the half, guys. It looked like North Gwinnett hit a field goal there. So, 9-7. Still very good ball game, though, over there.
A lot of people predicted that one within a score or so.
Yep.
Going as expected there. Also a defensive battle, as most people expected, with North Gwinnett and Cherokee, both being top 10 and 7A for points allowed. Low punt here, and it's finally fair caught by Dawson Curry after getting hit twice. Finally learned his lesson, and we'll take it at the 31-yard line with 1:21 left. We'll keep the action right here for you, as Brody Rhodes is going to lead his team out here and see if they can put some points on the board to try and take a lead in the halftime.
Well, here's the question. How aggressive do you want to be right here? I mean, and I think, with 2 timeouts, 121, you've got time, certainly, to get downfield and make some plays. It just hadn't been there a lot tonight, and you've got to wonder, if they're going to try to sprint Brody out into space and let him, maybe make a play downfield. I would say that likely if they do that, they're going to do it maybe second, third down to where if it does get picked off or what have you, don't leave them a whole lot of time here. But it'll be interesting to see how offensively they approach this series right here.
River Ridge up 21-14 over Kennesaw Mountain. That game is now at the half. We're going to be a little bit behind them due to the injuries, but we'll keep you updated all night long here. Brody Rhodes fakes the run, and he is going to run it here. And a gain of pretty much nothing. As the clock winds down here, looks like Creekview might be content to take this one to half, but we'll see what the play call is from here on out.
Yeah, not a lot of running room there at all. Just a design quarterback draw, and they've ran that play several times here in the first half because we know Rhodes can run it, but again, Sprayberry's just been all over it right here.
They do hurry back to the line here, but in no hurry to snap it after hurrying back to the line. 4 wide receivers split out. It's a pass here. Sending guys deep. Andrew Cloy hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it right at the 40-yard line. So falls harmlessly to the turf, and it's still 3rd and 10 from the Creekview 31 with 47 seconds left here to go.
Hit him in a bad place.
Right in the hands.
Right in the hands. And about 2 yards shy of the first down. Now, if he makes that catch, he dives forward, probably gets the first down, clock stops. But, the silver lining is, again, it does stop the clock, but now your situation with your 3rd and 10, you don't get it right here, and you're going to have to punt it back to them, and, you just don't want to have to do that if you can help it.
Trips to the top. Looks like that'll be Cloy, Dawson, and Vaccaro up there. Hayden Thompson the bottom here. Swing out. It's a screen play to Dawson Curry. A good block by Vaccaro out there, but even better pursuit by the defensive back to cut him down for only a gain of 2. The clock will continue to run.
Well, the Yellow Jackets did him a favor right there by tackling him in bounds.
I mean, it looked Sprayberry burns a timeout here after letting about 6 seconds burn off the clock.
Yeah. Curry was headed out of bounds right there, and it didn't look like he was going down to the ground, but Sprayberry was able to take him off his feet, which forced them to have to use the timeout. And as you said, they let 6 seconds go off of that. So, again, 4th down play right here. And, it's a situation where, if you're Creekview, if you're Curry, you want to go down inbounds. So it's a good thing he didn't run out of bounds there, and that would have cost him 6-7 seconds.
Right you are, and the timeout there was a little bit delayed on that, but it is still 7-7 here, so Sprayberry going to try and get the ball back and give it back to Kyle Brown. Haven't mentioned much of him with the rushing attack being so good, but he is 87 on 150 attempts, 1,463 yards, 13 touchdowns on 7 interceptions coming into this game. Haven't seen much of him. A few passes here and there, mostly underneath. Hasn't taken any shots deep yet for the most part. And Dawson Curry will be back to punt this one. Looks like Mustafa Hefner will be back to return it if he can. Pressure almost gets to him, and there's going to be a flag. We'll see if it's a running into the kicker or a roughing the kicker. That is 4th and 7, so the return doesn't matter here. We'll see if it is going to be a personal foul or if it will be only a 5 yards. It is a personal foul, so an automatic first down for Creekview. So it'll also move it out to the 49-yard line from the 34. So we'll see with Creekview with 20 seconds left and 2 timeouts if they want to try and get down into field goal range. Once again, as you mentioned, we're not so sure on the field goal range of their kicker as they have switched him out a couple of times this year. So with that revolving door, we haven't got to see the capacity of kicks that we get from the normal kickers, but we will have to see what they are able to do.
Yeah, they do have the 2 timeouts. I think you got to look downfield. Now, obviously, Andrew Cloy, is the most, obvious target on the deep ball here, which Sprayberry, for the most part, has covered him pretty well. Granted, he went up and made the grab on that one long ball that set up the touchdown. But, I think with 20 seconds left and 2 timeouts, you at least have to take a shot. Worst case scenario, you turn it over, down on the 20-yard line, and then they're going to take a knee and run out the clock. So I think if you're Creekview right here, maybe a long, you got the 2 timeouts, you can throw something into the middle of the field. You can throw long, kind of a deep crossing route here. And I think realistically, you've probably got to get down close to the 30-yard line, probably to have a decent shot at a long field goal here. So they're going to need, better part about 30 yards probably. Maybe
so I believe there was a holding call against Creekview, a personal foul, against Creekview. So the personal foul on Creekview, I'm not sure how that equates. It's a dead ball penalty, so it should be a first down enforced and then the 15 yards back, so they will still be back at the 34-yard line. And now let's see if the referees decide to mark off the 15 yards and walk it back. or if they're just going to leave it there. I think it would be funny if they walked it.
They typically they do, but Dave, you mentioned 20 seconds left.
Here we go, getting the steps in.
They are walking it off. 20 seconds left. You got to think they got at most 3 plays out of that 20 seconds, even if they're getting it downfield. Maybe 4 if they can squeeze out a quick one here, but not a ton of time. So you're going to have to get a big chunk play here on this first play.
So it does equate to a first down. So good news for the View. With 20 seconds left here to go, we'll have to see if they decide if they're going to try and make some points out of this one, or if they've had enough of the fun and games for the first half and take it into the half.
Like we were saying, I mean, you need about 35 yards probably right here just to give yourself a chance. So you're looking at having to hit a ball right here probably on this play or the next play. As you said, realistically, all right, maybe 3 plays, and that depends on what you do right here on first down. But like I said, we'll see how aggressive they're going to be right here with just the 20 seconds left.
Creekview hurries to the ball here. 4 wide receivers split out. Cloy, Curry, and Vaccaro is kind of filled in as that third wide receiver role today. And just as soon as I say that, he'll line up in the slot here. Rhodes rolls out to that side. Looks like a run all the way, and it is. And he tries to get to the outside, but that's close to a horse collar, but not called. It looked like a pretty clean call. And I believe, did Creekview burn a timeout here?
I think that was...
Oh, we got a flag late as well. So let's see who it is against and what we're going to have to do here. This first half, obviously all these other teams are at halftime so far, but as the Whitecaps meet, this game running pretty long for a first half as we're at 8:45 here.
Almost past my bedtime, Will, but I do want to give you a score update on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard here. Cambridge up 14-0 over Kell over there at the Stockyards down there in East Cobb. So, it's playoff time. You got to bring your A game. We kind of made a few comments about the math that Region 7 6A used to get there to qualifying teams.
That Fulton County math.
But nevertheless, Cambridge is doing work over there tonight as a visiting team at Kell.
Well, they probably got tired of hearing that they didn't belong, maybe.
They still don't, but fair enough.
They got tired of it, so they're motivated tonight. Look, that's the thing about the playoffs. I mean, there is no record once you get in the playoffs. There is no, whatever. No, scores, records, all that stuff's out the window, stats. I mean, you start over from 0, so it's a clean slate. But, yeah, right here, I think it was Creekview that –
unsportsmanlike conduct against Sprayberry there.
Yeah.
And I believe Creekview called a timeout. And after the timeout, the Sprayberry player came up and talked to the official because there was no flag on the horse collar that the Creekview fans wanted, although from my perspective it looked like a pretty good tackle. But I understand the concern, obviously. And as things progressed, obviously the Sprayberry player said something about the referee's mama, and that was enough to withdraw the flag.
Yeah, just can't, he probably meant to say Happy Thanksgiving. And
yeah, you're right.
And he probably said the referee's mom ate too much turkey last night, and that got him a 15-yarder now, 11 seconds left. We'll see what Coach Williams dials up right here.
That we will. It looks like they're going to split once again. Vaccaro, Cloy, and Dawson Curry out to the far side of the field this time. The near side wide receiver is number 17 for the Grizzlies. That is Chase Wright.
5 DBs about 20 yards back, Will, in a line there.
A little bit of prevent defense here. 4 men down the line, but they're going to bring blitz, bring about 5, and Chase Wright was the intended target, but he was running a fly all the way, and he expected to stop at the first down marker, but did not. Still falls harmlessly to the turf. Ball still at the 48-yard line with 8 seconds left here to go and 2 timeouts for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, definitely not on the same page that time. Probably a good thing, though. He catches that ball. He's running a skinny post. If he catches that ball in bounds, they got to burn their final timeout. They're still nowhere near field goal range, so we'll see what happens.
They have 2 timeouts, actually.
Who's that?
Creekview.
Well, they're showing 1 on the board.
They are definitely 2, my friend. But it's okay.
They just burned that one right there, though. They burned 1 on that previous play. There's 1.
My bad. You're a smart man. 4 wide receivers here. Brody Rhodes surveys, loading up, going over the middle, and it was intended for A.J. Vaccaro, but falls harmlessly to the turf with 4 seconds left.
Yeah. Well, now you can take a shot, though. I mean, it's 3rd down, but this is the last play, so you can load up. Now, I don't know if Brody has the arm to get it to the end zone from there. He may, if you can sprint him out into space, but with the way Sprayberry has been pressuring off the edge here tonight, I'm not sure they're going to give him enough time to do that, but we'll see.
Right you are.
Yeah, I think Sprayberry is going to send that linebacker, Donovan Broad, in there to put some pressure up in Brody's face. But I think Brody's got an arm at least to get it down to the 10. And, hey, all you got to do is get it up there. A pass interference call is in play.
Right you are. Pass interference, a good point. Would be an untimed down. 15-yard penalty here in high school, not a spot of the foul. Going to bring 4 here. He's rushed out of the pocket, rolling, surveying, and he just falls down. And a little bit of a late hit there, but no flag comes out as Rhodes had already given up, and he just mentions to the official, didn't really like that big man falling on me, but thanks for nothing as they head to the locker room. Our score here is tied 7-7 in a meet-on-meet game. We're going to come back with a Foundation Financial halftime show in 2 minutes. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity, member FNIRA and SIPC.
In times of uncertainty, it's nice to know that there's still some things that are certain. Hi, I'm Dave Garner here, your local Woodman Life representative. I want to make sure that your family is protected with needs-based life insurance through Woodman Life. Life insurance has many benefits. It's not just something that's there when you pass. It's mortgage protection, family savings, debt relief, replacing lost income, and overall peace of mind. Some companies sell it because they have to. We sell it because it's what we do. Call for a free quote today or visit me online, and let's make certain that you're protected from today's uncertainty.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Welcome back to the Foundation Financial halftime show. I am your host, Will Cooper, and Dave Garner. Would you mind telling us what show we're on here?
We are on the Foundation Financial halftime show, my friend.
All right, just wanted to double check there with you. Hey, look, our score here 7-7. We're going to have 20 minutes of a halftime period here for you, as is per regulations in the GHSA playoffs. So you might be a little used to a condensed halftime or a little bit of extended, because normally towards the end of the season we end up in some of the homecoming festivities, senior night festivities. Obviously, well, not obviously, but the band is here, but they will not perform at halftime. But they are here to support the Creekview Grizzlies, as the Grizzly Den is a great place to come out and watch some high school football. If next year you get a chance to, then it might be a great time to do so, because hopefully some of the restrictions will be lifted and we'll be able to get back to some good old-fashioned high school football. But let's go over some totals we have here for you through this one so far. Sprayberry, 28 plays, 96 total yards, 17 rushes for 47 yards, 3 of 9 through the air for 49 yards, 3 penalties totaling 35 yards in 9 minutes and 41 possession. This second quarter is where Creekview really came into their own. 33 plays for Creekview, 81 yards, 19 on the ground for 32 yards, 5 of 13 through the air, 49 yards, only 1 penalty for 15 yards. That was the null penalty, really, except giving them a first down. But 14 minutes and 19 seconds time of possession. Guys, Sprayberry only had the ball for 2 minutes and 48 seconds in that second quarter. Creekview really dominating the time of possession, something they need to do if they hope to continue to wear down the Sprayberry defense.
Yeah, it was, we saw Sprayberry take the ball and just really on their first drive do something that most teams have not been able to do against Creekview, and that's run the ball, get a little bit of pass protection, complete passes down the field, and score. And we thought immediately, wow, this could be an interesting game here. And one of the things I think that Sprayberry brings that Creekview brought to their region, Creekview and Sequoia and River Ridge brought to Region 7, is physicality. Those Cobb County schools, a little bit more physical over the last few years, and Cherokee County kind of found a way to play with that. And then, again, Sprayberry comes over here, first drive, and we just see how physical that team is across the way here and score a touchdown. But Creekview kind of playing a little chess match and finally getting some field position, bouncing back, and really flipping the script here in the second half, dominating time of possession and tying the game up. And now we're at a, we got 2 more quarters left to play when they come back, and it's a brand new ball game.
Yeah, and Art, I mean, you read my mind. I mean, I think that, outside of that opening drive by Sprayberry, this Creekview defense is starting to settle in a little bit. They're starting to get to Kyle Brown a little bit, dialing up the run blitzes. Obviously the big story was, Demarion Owens going out with the knee injury there in the first half, the leading back for Sprayberry, who was obviously eating up a ton of yards up to that point. So, the dynamic of the Sprayberry offense changes a little bit now, and all of a sudden they're not so dynamic anymore with Owens out. So if you're Creekview's defense, you got to wonder coming out of the locker room in the second half, how aggressive are they going to stay? I think they've got to stay super aggressive. They've got to dial up run blitzes. Make Kyle Brown put the ball in the air. Look, he can throw. I mean, he's thrown for over 1,400 yards this year. Got a lot of guys that like to spread it around to in the receiving game. We talked a little bit about Matir Muhammad, who was a little bit, he was quiet in the first half. Mustafa Hefner, had a couple of plays, but outside of that, Josh Bush was targeted, but not a lot going on in the passing game. So I think Creekview, they've got to dial up some run blitzes, really cheat some guys up, get some backers in the holes, fills the gaps there a little bit, and try to shut this offense down, because outside of that opening drive, they really haven't done a whole lot.
Well, I think when you look at the player totals here for Sprayberry, they've only completed 3 passes to 3 different targets. One of those to Mustafa, as you mentioned, that was a 27-yard completion. The other one to Burns, that was a 10-yard completion. And then the last one to number 24, obviously that was the injured Damien out there, 1 reception for 12 yards. So all of theirs have gone for 10-plus yards. The only problem is they've only completed 3 of them. So in the long term, you obviously have to have something a little bit more sustainable. But so far for them, it's rolling there. They're 3 of 9 through the air, as we mentioned, for only 49 yards. So a good total yardage there, but obviously you're going to have a little bit more success through the air. And on the opposite end of that, the thing that points out to me for Creekview is that their leading rusher right now is Brody Rhodes. He's had 10 attempts on 16 yards. Now, of course, that adds in the sack there at the end. But when you look at the rest of these, Tyler Stevens only had 4 carries for 11 yards. And then A.J. Vaccaro's had it 2 times for 3 yards, and that's it. So, they haven't been able to dish the ball around like they would like to, obviously. And then, obviously, the receptions for them, Dawson Curry has 2 for 25, and then Andrew Clay has the one that he caught down here in the corner of the end zone for 32 yards. And then outside of that, it was Hayden Thompson, and that's it. So there just hasn't been a lot of getting the ball around. So really impressed with both of these defenses so far. Obviously for Creekview, you want to see them on the offensive side. You'd like to see them be able to establish the running game with Tyler Stevens and not so much with Brody. As we mentioned, to Coach Williams, that was something he kind of came into the season wanting to do, not let Rhodes be the leading rusher for this team. And then on the opposite side of that, for Creekview's defense, you obviously want to see them get after the quarterback a little bit more, force the passing situations. And then on the opposite end of that, Sprayberry, you have to make some adjustments in the passing game for sure.
Yeah, in a nod to Von Brown, touchdown Brown. I mean, he said it too. He wants to see this Creekview team win games without Brody Rhodes being the leading rusher. But he beats you a lot of different ways that we talked about. So if he's got the room to run, I don't have a problem with him running. But you don't typically want him to be, the leading rusher in a football game. You want to establish the run with your backs and your offensive line to kind of take over in the trenches. But right now, the good news is if you're Creekview, you got 7 points at halftime, but you're really right on schedule. I mean, you're only averaging 19 points a ball game, and a lot of that has been done in the second half of the games that we've seen them play. So, I think right now you got to feel pretty good about Creekview. I know in a 7-7 game, round 1 on your home turf, you feel like maybe you should be winning, but that's just not how the playoffs are played. I mean, we're seeing that tonight with River Ridge. I mean, they're just barely staying ahead of Kennesaw Mountain, a 1 versus 4. So in this 2 versus 3, which a lot of people had Sprayberry actually as a favorite coming in here tonight, I think if you're Creekview, you got to feel pretty good that you had nothing really going on early in the ball game, but in the second quarter, it's kind of like a heavyweight fight. The first quarter went to Sprayberry, round 1. Mm-hmm. Round 2, being the second quarter, went to Creekview. It's tied up right now, 7-7 on the scoreboard, 1-1 on the card, if you will, yep. And a second half to play.
Let's hope there's not 12 rounds to this fight, or we'll be here for a while.
That's true.
My goodness. Hey, let's take our first break on the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. When we come back, we'll round up the rest of the scores around the area, give you some in-depth analysis to that one, and get you prepped for the second half of football here from the Grizzly Den. 2 minutes, and you'll be back. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, unaffiliated entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving a tenth of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
You're listening to WLJA FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1 LJ, Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, and all of North Georgia.
Jasper, Canton, and all of Georgia. That was the voice of Ace of Spades Jones back on Master Controls, the man behind the smokestacks, making us sound so good, like he always does. Hey, welcome back to the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. I'm your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Diamond Dave Garner, taking up the majority of the room in here, and also Editor-in-Chief of the Turf Ferguson Report, Arthur Mosley, the man who knows more about high school football than anybody really should. How's it going, guys? Good? Doing good?
Man, I tell you what, you're right. I probably do know more about high school football than just about anybody should, maybe except Matt Stewart over there at GPB.
Yeah, well, that's true.
He is the Encyclopedia Brown of Georgia high school football. Will, we're kind of talking off of air, and just a couple of let's just talk about a couple of games around the area. River Ridge, I think last we checked, 21-14, and then Cherokee 9-6. We talked about this, and Dave brought this up. You don't have to be the best team. All you have to do is go 1-0 each night on Friday night from here on out. And Kennesaw Mountain has really proven that. Coach Carmine has those guys ready and battle-tested. And look, you got a week to prepare against a team you've never seen before. You've just seen them on film. It's not like you have a ton of and maybe you can get a ton of film, but you've got 4.5, 5, 6 days to get your team prepped. So it's a really quick turnaround. And so there's, in terms of game planning, I think there's some things you can install, but you really just got to go out and, football is a game of blocking and tackling, right? It's not that difficult.
Yeah, that's what they say. It seems like the difference between good teams and bad teams shouldn't be that big, if you ask me. But no, you're exactly right about that. I think, I think for a lot of folks over at Woodstock right now, and of course that's River Ridge, you have to feel like they're probably a little disappointed with that score. And the Cherokee folks probably a little bit happier with their score. Obviously not the fact that it's 9-6, but the fact that, they're in that game probably helps fuel that fire a little bit. So, Cherokee hopefully coming out in the second half. Like we mentioned, it is 20-minute halves, so if it seems like it's a little bit longer than what you might be normally used to, that's because all of us have to take the exact same time, and it is GHSA regulated. Of course, during the playoffs, the GHSA takes a little bit more tighter control over things, of course, just trying to keep everything as fair as possible. Don't want to say, well, when we were at Creekview, we only got 10 minutes or 12 minutes or 15 minutes, so they institute these rules across all the games. That way there's no questions or anything can be made about that sort of thing, although the calls have been questionable tonight, but we'll leave that right where it is. But you're exactly right. I think when you look across the table, Creekview fans, this is what we expected from this. River Ridge maybe a little bit of a letdown, and Cherokee maybe a little bit on the brighter side of things so far. And, of course,
Yeah, one thing I was just going to say, this is a stat Vaughn had brought up, and partner, I hope you're feeling well as you listen to us tonight. I'm going to butcher his numbers. He's probably going to be frustrated and text us right after this. But
probably.
River Ridge has outscored their opponents. I want to say they've only allowed maybe 10, 17 second half points during the regular season, going into last week's matchup. And so they've really been a second half team, outscoring those opponents. At one point, it might have been 73-10. But just doing a fabulous job in the second half. We saw it when we watched. I brought the Centennial game up earlier, but just really been an explosive second half team. You hopefully not have to rely on that during the playoffs,
right.
Because anything can happen. A team that gets confidence, if they stay in the game as the game goes on, that becomes a more dangerous team with nothing to lose. And so we'll see what happens over there at Kennesaw Mountain. But I did want to throw that stat out. They are very good at putting games away in the second half.
Yeah, when you look at the cross-game tier, Carrollton up 55-0 over Winterboro at the half, so it looks like the winner of this game will be forced to go on the road and play at Carrollton. Of course, that is the Region 5 champion over there in 6A. And Rome up 21-7 over Habersham Central, so that game well within reach for a pass-happy Habersham Central team. So we'll keep an eye on that one there for you as well. Turning the card over, West Forsyth up 32-7 over Meadow Creek, and that one so far, as we mentioned, if Cherokee does get a chance to win this one, the drive from West Forsyth to Cherokee is much more manageable than it is the drive down to North Gwinnett. And, of course, Coach Dave Savela over there for the West Forsyth Wolverines, so a familiar opponent over there for Coach Shaw, as he coached at Etowah for quite a while. So, Dave, your take on the game so far, buddy?
Well, I mean, it's just, we kind of thought that Carrollton would kind of do their thing, and I think Rome, we know Cherokee got the better of them early in the year, a little bit down from where they've been over the last couple of years, being a state and even a national power. But I like Rome to kind of pull that thing out. But, look, we saw Hab Central here a couple of years ago, and we know what kind of, athletes they have, over there. And I think it'll be an interesting draw for River Ridge next week, assuming they get by tonight. No matter who comes to town, it's going to be a very tough round 2 matchup, I think, for them. Yeah. Not to say they can't win it, but that's one of those games that I see kind of nip and tuck regardless of who that opponent is. So it'll be interesting. But, here tonight in our game, the thing about the Grizzlies to me is we talk about pedigree. 15th season of football here, 8 playoff appearances, and, they've only had 2 losing seasons here. So, I think Trevor Williams definitely has these guys going in the right direction, and I think that experience will play out a little bit in the second half. Now, granted, Sprayberry, this is the 5th year in a row these guys have played. It's been back and forth. Creekview leads the series all-time 3-2. So they've got a slight advantage in the series. But I think the second half, I expect the Grizzlies to come out, make some adjustments, run a lot more, run blitzes type thing. I think we're going to see some backers stepping up, filling the holes, filling the gaps a little bit. Going to have to do something against this big offensive line. We'll see. Something's got to give here in the second half. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Should be exactly right. I think, 2 physical teams that come out of that Region 6A that housed the Harrison Allatoona, who ended up playing for that 6A championship. And not only that championship, but also the state championship in 2019. And, of course, 2018, Creekview and Sequoia were both incredible teams. Harrison also in that bunch is a guy, Georgia fans are going to hate me for this, Justin Fields, happened to play at Harrison for a while. You might have heard of him before. So, obviously, there's a lot of pedigree, not only in the county with that Region 6A, but also outside. And, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Dalton last year as we were here to watch them. And for the first time in my life, there was a helicopter landed across the street on the baseball fields at Creekview as Coach Collins and Tashard Choice couldn't help but come over and watch Jameer Gibbs put up 200 yards on Creekview in the first half and then said, well, we've seen our guy. We know exactly what, obviously we made the right decision here. We'll see you later. Hop back on the plane and went on. So
back to Atlanta, I guess, or wherever.
I think they were taking a stop down somewhere a little bit further north, like North Cobb or something like that. But rolling down. So
well, and that just goes to show you the kind of talent that is kind of coming out of this region, this area. We're seeing guys that are constantly signing scholarships. Back when I grew up here, you had very few. There were fewer schools. You might have had 1 or 2 guys that may have went mid-level, or what have you, mid-major type schools. But now we're seeing them consistently coming out of Creekview. There's been several guys just here at Creekview that have gone D1 over the last couple of years, and really all of our schools. And that's just a testament, to the programs. I remember, when I was growing up, again, a long time ago, Cherokee was always kind of second fiddle to Cobb County, and always playing, behind there. But now I think the gap is certainly evened up. And for all of our teams to be competitive, to have 6 schools and to have, 4 or 5 every year flirting with the postseason says a lot about the level of talent that we have.
Yeah, it really does. And, I mean, when you think back to the type of athletes that have come through in the past couple of years for Creekview, Andy Davis, John Williams, Nick Penley.
Yep.
I mean, you could go down the list. Cade Radham, Paxton Naiman.
Yep.
I mean, just a whole bunch of athletes out there. And it looks like with about 2 minutes left here in the halftime period, they're going to take the teams coming back out here on the field.
Yeah, I think they're going to reset the clock here in just a moment, I do believe. One thing I do want to say, and we talked about this, you guys mentioned the pregame tonight, feast or famine. Sprayberry in their 5 wins, they've scored 45-plus points. In their 4 losses, they've lost by at least 2 touchdowns. So, coming into this game tonight, I really didn't feel like I could kind of get a handle on how good this team was, simply because it's been an all-or-nothing year for Sprayberry. You kind of feel like Creekview is maybe towards the better side of that upper echelon. So the fact that we're 7-7 stalemate right now is not surprising at all. But like I said, I think it makes for a great second half, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. 2 great physical defenses, really what you want to see in playoff football. Sprayberry getting Creekview's best, and then Creekview on the other end getting Sprayberry's best. And it'll be interesting to see which offense can find a crack or a crevice in these other defenses, because right now, game tied at 7-7, they're doing their darndest here to make sure their respective teams play next week.
Right you are. That's going to do it for us on this halftime show. Our friend Dave Garner wants to give a special shout-out to the sponsor for this one.
Foundation Financial and Mr. Ronnie Cooper. Ronnie on the spot. See those guys in Canton, man. They're right downtown in a big old nice office.
There you go. Much closer than Jasper. 2 minutes in, we'll be back to bring you the second half of high school football here at WLJA 101.1 FM.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, unaffiliated entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on EnjoyCherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
Right here. That's getting low.
Welcome back to the second half of high school football here on WLJA 101.1 FM. You just heard the voice of Dave Garner, who is enjoying the last of his peace tea over there. Yes, a grown man. Dave, are you 47 now, buddy? You turned 47 this year?
You got to take what they got at the concession
stand.
And
he actually spent money on peace tea. So if you wonder why I make fun of him so much, it's because he does it to himself as the teams finish warming up here. And our score here is 7-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. Last we checked, Kennesaw Mountain down to River Ridge 21-14. Cherokee down to North Gwinnett 9-6 so far in those games. But we'll keep you updated on those as we're a little bit behind schedule behind them due to some injuries and some late game penalties. But we've got a whole other half of football here for you. Of course, if you are driving through the holiday lights just up the road here, we are at Creekview High School. So we want to thank you for being a part of of it. As we mentioned, we apologize for interrupting the Christmas music, but we hope we're entertaining enough to fill the void and just try and keep your spirits lifted just a little bit, as we consider we're funny, but we are here for a high school broadcast.
Now, Art Mosley has a voice. I've heard him sing.
Yes.
So, I mean, do you want to whip out a little Christmas tune real quick for those that may be going through the Holiday of Lights right now?
Art, that's on call. Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Oh, he's got some soul.
So delightful. And the lights are turned way down low.
Everybody now.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. All right.
I love, man.
Wow.
I like that.
I mean, I don't know what else you want from a broadcast, guys. I think we can pack this show up.
Well, you know, Dave, when you don't have much personality, you got to find something. Something
to fall back on.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Appreciate you, Art.
Well, I appreciate you, Will, for putting me on the spotlight.
It wasn't me. It was him.
Or Dave. Well,
it was me.
Wait a minute.
You guys are like twins. You both stand about.
Do you tell me I look like him?
This is you in like 20 years.
You will.
You will. Gosh. You know what the difference between you and me is? I know when to go ahead and give up and say I'm balding.
Wow.
And now he's trying
Hey, look, there's a football game getting ready to kick off.
Wow.
Hey, check it out. Ty Hubert will tee it up for the Creekview Grizzlies, as Sprayberry did win the toss but elected to defer in the first quarter. So Creekview will have to kick it off here. Of course, the score is tied 7-7, as we've got a whole fresh half to bring you of high school football. I'm Will Cooper, joined alongside Dave Garner, Arthur Mosley, Ronnie on the spot. Toe meets leather, and we're underway in the second half, as it is caught to a sliding knee at the 24-yard line, where Sprayberry will take over.
A little pooch kick right there. Neither one of these kickoff teams, I notice, are being very aggressive. They're kicking it short, respecting the playmaking ability of the return men on both sides here. So a pooch kick by Creekview here, right off the bat, to prevent a big return.
Yeah, you see that more and more each week, week in and week out, these teams trying to maybe limit that big play and trusting their defense to set them up as we get the play underway.
3 wide receivers to the bottom of the formation. That's Brown joined alongside his running back, but it's a pass, and it's completed out to the middle. That's completed to number 1 for the first time tonight. And the ball, they marked him down. Not sure how they were able to do that. That pass was completed to Fatir Muhammad, but Cale Williams came up, the junior free safety, to knock that ball loose, but instead it is ruled down. So we'll play by the rules here. Up to the 29-yard line, 2nd and 5.
Yeah, Fatir Muhammad made the catch. He was kind of held up. I don't think he was really down on the ground, but his forward momentum had stopped because he put that ball on the ground, but they were saying that his momentum stopped the play.
See what they do here on 2nd and short. It is a handoff right up the middle here. Fighting forward, it's going to be real close to the first down. Not even close, actually, after that second effort. All the way out 3 yards past the first down marker. Move those chains. Isaiah Abbey having a good start so far.
Yeah, this opening drive of the second half looking much like the opening drive of the first half for Sprayberry, working from the same end right to left and just punching the football out of a hole and working it up across the 35. Note the splits of the offensive linemen. These guys are ankle to ankle. There is no room in between. They're very tight splits on that offensive line, which tells me they're just going to get behind these hogs and, just try to ride them down the field.
Well, hogs get slaughtered, pigs get fed. Fakes the play action there, and it's a draw by the quarterback. He's met by Isaac Hubert, as well as Chase Disney was there on the tackle. A gain of a yard, so 2nd and 9.
And I don't think that was a design play there. I think that was a misread in the backfield right there. It looked like he was wanting to hand that ball off, but the running back went the wrong way, went to the right, and the play was supposed to be to the left. So, basically Kyle Brown had no choice but just to get what he could out of that and didn't pick up much.
Right you are there. 3 wide receivers to the top of this formation. Abbey in the backfield with Brown. Claps his hands. Fakes the handoff there, and it's completed out over the middle to Bush, and he's going to be cut down across the middle, but enough for a first down. Move those chains into Grizzly territory. Open field tackle by Cale Williams, and Bush is very fast. 5'8", 160, kind of the flex player. You'll see him in the slot throughout the night. Comes in as the second leading receiver in yards.
Yeah, Josh Bush just ran a quick slant that time, and Kyle Brown put it right on the numbers. 27 grabs for Bush, 488 yards on the season, 18 yards a touch and 4 touchdowns.
Easy to see there. Big play ability for them. This time it's a handoff to Abbey. Good read, makes a man miss. Lowers the shoulder, makes Cale Williams fall a little bit, finally wrestled down by a combination of Peyton Parker and Nick Stewart out on the outside, but it's only about a half a yard short of the first down marker, so 2nd and 1 here as they are now working deep into Grizzly territory, ball almost at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Taylor Cox-Young got a piece of that one as well. Sprayberry committing to the run right here to open the second half.
3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Hard count. Nobody jumps, though. And they will go up to the line. That's once again Kyle Brown coming up, commanding his troops. 9 minutes, 20 seconds left here to go in the third quarter. Takes the handoff, slant over the middle to Bush once again. That's an easy play, easy pass and catch. Move those chains. A gain of about 6 yards out across to the 29-yard line. And Sprayberry finding some open field right there in the middle of the defense.
Yeah, when you pick up 8 or 9 yards on first down, it really makes it easy to call plays on second down. And that time, Kyle Brown looked like he's improved his accuracy when he came out of the locker room. So Sprayberry on the move here in the second half.
3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. The running back on the opposite end of this formation. It's another pass. That one was deep. I believe that was intended for Bush once again. He might have thought Bush was 6'8", but instead he's 5'8". Cale Williams on the coverage, but falls harmlessly to the turf. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and I've been impressed with Coach Brett Favre's offense, the way they've come out aggressive here in this third quarter, because they have mixed it up. They started running the football, but they've thrown a couple of nice passes to try to keep this Grizzly defense off balance. We thought, Creekview might be the team to come out and attack upfield to start this drive, but now they're on their heels, and they've basically got 3 down linemen, brought in an extra linebacker. But they've had trouble filling the gaps right here, but they got them 2nd and 10 now.
Cole Hasty now on the defensive line here. Normally plays linebacker. 3 wide receivers. Looks their way. It was all to the top, and he's going deep, and it's completed out there. And
now they're going to
wave it off, say it hit the ground. I believe that was for
Muhammad.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Fatir Muhammad looked like he had that ball, and as he went to the ground, it just kind of bobbled as he slid out of bounds. Now, he ended up with control of it. The ball technically never hit the ground, but he went out of bounds with it. And as he was going out of bounds with it, he was bobbling it, and so they waved it off and said incomplete.
Brings up 3rd and 10 here. Ball at the 29-yard line. Once again, Sprayberry moving from right to left across your radio dial. Thank you for joining us on a beautiful Friday night. 3 wide receivers split out, tight end and a running back. Brown surveys, loading up. He's got a man one-on-one coverage out there. Taylor Cox-Young going up against Muhammad, and Cox gets the better of him there. That one falls harmlessly to the turf. 4th and 10 from the 29-yard line. Decision time for the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets.
Looks like the offense is going to stay on the field, but, just as we were lauding the quarterback on his accuracy, Kyle Brown throws 2, one was dropped, and that one was a little bit wide of his receiver. But like you said, Cox-Young over there with great coverage on the outside, and Sprayberry is going to go for it deep in Grizzly territory.
Here we go. 3 wide receivers to the top of the formation, 1 to the bottom, and the running back, Abby, in the backfield. Brown slaps his hands, surveys, good pass rush. Isaiah Hubert runs over the running back. He's rolled out of the pocket, and a flag comes in on the backside. We'll have to see what it is. But the pass is incomplete if it stands, but we've got a few different penalty flags coming in, so we'll let the Zebras clear this one up and the white cap give us the answer.
Yeah, Sprayberry's sideline was clapping their hands as if to indicate it was on Creekview, but I'm not sure.
And it is a holding call.
Hold downfield, so.
Well, when you have their quarterback scrambling around like that, sometimes you wonder if those offensive linemen might release downfield a little bit, even though that's a pass play by design. But it was not the case.
Well, I can tell you this. Isaiah Abbey was 6'1", 215 pounds. He met Isaac Hubert, who's 6'1", 190 pounds. And Isaac Hubert just decided, get out of my way, young man. And that's exactly what happened there as he flushed him out of the pocket. But, of course, the penalty will move it enough for a first down. So move those chains, and with 8 minutes and 32 seconds left, Sprayberry knocking on the door.
Yeah, they brought Peyton Parker on a blitz that time, but with those splits so tight and those big offensive linemen, just no gaps to shoot through, so they were able to pick up the blitz, although Hubert, as you said, ran over a guy on the backside of that, but still able to get the penalty.
Abby and Brown, Bush in motion, low snap, but it's a handoff to Abby. He's introduced to Sam Minozzi and Grant Anderson, and he's going absolutely nowhere. And it looks like he'll be marked for a loss of about 1, so 2nd and 11 here.
Very unfortunate because you had him 4th and 10. Obviously a down you got to get off the field. You got to find a way to make happen right there. The penalty bails out Sprayberry, so the Yellow Jackets have another opportunity right here, but pushing them back on first down is huge because now you kind of shorten up that field a little bit and put the pressure on their offense to make a play.
Brown slaps his hands, fakes a pass all the way. He's going to go out towards the middle, and it is caught, but a great open field tackle out there. Let's see, Cole Hasty was there in coverage, but it was the pass was a caught, but the tackle was made by number 25, Alexis Weds.
Yeah, Pedro Luciano, the junior tight end, with his first catch of the night, and one of his first of the season, actually, so he was in there. Unlikely target, but it does set up a 3rd and long.
Brown here, 4 wide receivers split out. It is a pass play. Good protection so far, and it's going to be out towards the middle, and he's going to be cut down just short. That was Hefner, and they're marking him down. So Coach Williams, unhappy with the call, said he fumbled it. Looked very similar to the Cartersville play from the Cherokee game earlier where he tried to extend for the end zone. But nonetheless, the Zebras rule him down.
Yeah, Mustafa Hefner lost the handle on that ball going out of bounds. I don't think it went out through the end zone, though, I think regardless. But they are saying he was down either way, as the line judge was over there yelling back at the Creekview sideline because he could hear the coaches yelling at him. So 1st and goal right here.
Pistol formation. 2 wide receivers tight end to the left side. And Abbey will cut it back up the opposite way. No mark that he got in, and he didn't. So he stopped right at the half-yard line. So Creekview will bring up 2nd and goal.
Boy, he got about as close as he could have without getting in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've seen that shotgun snap fall a little bit short, maybe disrupt the timing of that handoff. I think if they get a clean snap, a clean handoff, Abbey had a hole there, but it closed quickly as the Grizzlies defense, again, attacking and able to keep Abbey out of the end zone.
See what they're able to do here. Same formation as last time. Watch the run to the left-hand side. And they're going to go back with the exact same play call, and it looks like he got in that time, and he did. So Sprayberry will take the advantage in this one, 13-7, pinning the extra point on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard attempt. A good effort by the Grizzlies, but unfortunately Sprayberry able to push that one through. Abbey has his 10th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, that time they just got behind that big offensive line and just powered forward. And, again, just not a lot. Creekview stood him up, but a good second effort. He was able just to barely break the plane of that goal line, which is all you got to do. And something about these opening half drives for Sprayberry, they've scored on their opening drive now the second half after scoring on their opening drive of the ball game.
North Gwinnett up 16-6 over Cherokee right now. The extra point is up and through. So it is 14-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. Let's take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll bring you more high school football action on WLJA.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Welcome back. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM. I'm Will Cooper, joined alongside Diamond Dave Garner, Arthur Mosley, the chief editor of the Turd Ferguson Report. Ronnie on the spot. Ronnie Cooper to the right of me, keeping stats, doing a great job doing that. And Ace of Spades Jones back on Master Control, making us sound so good like he always does. Sprayberry was able to put up a touchdown on that last one. It's 14-7. We'll give you the numbers from that one after the kick. But we are set as the football is teed off, and toe meets leather here at the Grizzly Den. It's another pooch kick off to the left side this time. Fair catch called for and is received cleanly by the Grizzlies. That last drive, 14 plays, 76 yards, 6 on the ground for 19 yards, 5 of 8 passing, 47 yards, 5 first downs, a penalty of 10 yards against Creekview, 5 minutes and 37 seconds time of possession, and Abbey capped it off with a 1-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, 14 plays and almost half the quarter. I mean, you know, there's 6:23 left in the third period, and Creekview's just touching the ball now for the first time here in the second half. So, you know, with these long sustained drives that we've had, you're not going to have that many offensive series in the ball game. So if you're Creekview, you've got to take advantage of them right here. And now you come out, you find yourself down 7 here on your home turf here with, you know, here in this third quarter. So, you know, they want to try to turn the tables, at least get some field position.
Pistol formation. Turn around, it's a handoff to Stevens. And it looks like he'll gain a yard, maybe 2. So up to cross the 36-yard line, 2nd and 8.
There's a big difference here. Sprayberry, you're normally getting 4, 5, 6 yards a carry on their first down runs. Creekview probably limited to about 2, 3, and 4 at the most here. So something to see if Creekview can turn the tide there on that first down play call.
Two wide receivers out on the field, Dawson Curry and Andrew Cloy, and they will bring the bunch formation back out. Classic football style here. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. That's Tyler Stevens. They send Dawson Curry out in motion to the far side. It's a handoff to Stevens right up the middle. A little bit of a better hole there as he falls out across the 40-yard line. Gain of about 4 there, and it'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, just some big bodies there in the middle by Sprayberry. Hard to run on this defense. And, that's why one of the reasons they've got 12 interceptions this year is because teams, they've really forced a lot of teams to have to put the ball in the air. And anytime you do that, there's 3 things that can happen. Only one of them's good, and that's a completion. The other one's an incompletion. The other one's an interception. So, they've gotten plenty of opportunities at the back end because they're so big up front. And this Creekview offense has just not been able to, really have a lot of success tonight establishing the run after averaging over 180 yards a game on the ground this year.
Rhodes barking out orders. Doubled up wide receivers on both sides of the formation and a tight end. Surveys, Curry on the slant, looks deep. He's got Vaccaro one-on-one coverage, and he brings it down. What a catch. And do they wave it off? No, it is complete. And it's finally completed down to the 21-yard line. Move those chains, enough for a first down from the Grizzlies. A great throw by Rhodes, and an even better catch from A.J. Vaccaro.
Yeah, and the coverage was there from Jerome Robinson Jr. He was in his hip pocket, but just a perfectly thrown ball by Rhodes, and then Vaccaro goes up to make that grab at the highest point, somehow brings it down up against the near sideline, and, boy, Robinson could only shake his head after that one.
Nothing better you can do as a defensive back on that one. Cloy and Curry to the top of the formation here. Thompson at the tight end position here. Stevens and Rhodes in the backfield. Turned around, it's a handoff to Stevens off the right-hand side. A little bit of a hole, lowers the shoulder, delivers some punishment before getting shoved out of bounds. And it looks like he'll gain maybe a yard. Second and 9.
Yeah, this Creekview offense, averaging just over 300 yards a game. As we said, 180 on the ground, 125 through the air. They've struggled to score points. As we know, they had 38 points against Chattahoochee in a ball game, a few weeks ago, but that was really an anomaly for this offense. It's averaging just over 19 points a ball game. They've won with defense, as we know, but now they're in a situation offensively where they're down and they got to put points on the board. So look for a little creativity right here, especially if they get in a third and long situation or what have you, and have to try to make something happen.
Curry out on the outside of the formation here. A.J. Vaccaro sent in motion from right to left. Fakes the handoff to Stevens, and Rhodes just kind of gives up on the play, goes to a knee, and it's a huge loss.
Yeah, Rhodes was surrounded that time, and it looked like he waved the white flag maybe a half a second too soon. But man, that's not the play you were looking for there on second down to make it third and, gosh, almost what? 16?
Well, the main thing you don't want to do right here is take yourself out of field goal range. I would have liked to have seen him
just throw it
away.
Yeah.
Because you gave up about 6-7 yards there, and those are very critical yards, when you're in a 7-point ball game right here. So let's see what they dial up right here to try to, kind of get back in front of the chains again.
It's a little bit different personnel here. We've got Curry, Vaccaro, and Thompson out to the top, and it's going to be a screenplay for Curry. He's got a little bit of room, makes one man miss, 2 men miss, out across to the, they're going to finally mark him down at about the 21-yard line. So a pretty good response from them as they gain just a couple of yards back from the original line of scrimmage. So 4th and 8.
Interesting play call, Dave. I mean, kind of a naked screen out there. You throw the ball out wide, and it looked like, I don't know if Hayden Thompson got the wrong signal. He was 16, 17 yards down the field looking for somebody to block maybe, and
yeah, situation right there where you're looking to kind of get Curry in a one-on-one and hoping to break a tackle and maybe get downfield. But, the Sprayberry defense, as we know, pursues well. So I don't know, maybe a situation where they were just trying to get back, get a certain amount of yardage back to try to set themselves up for this fourth play, which they're up to go for it.
Well, Cloy down here at the bottom side, Curry with him. Cloy will be double covered here. Sends Stevens out in motion on the release valve. Rhodes has to roll out of the pocket. Surveys, looking deep. He's got a man in the corner. Did he bring that down? Dawson Curry. Oh, they rule him incomplete. Dawson Curry tried to bring the toes down, but ruled out of bounds on 4th and 10. It'll be a turnover on downs.
Great effort down there by Dawson Curry, dragging his feet as the ball was in the air. It just maybe, it might have been 2 or 3 inches at the most, if any. But
hard to tell from up here, but the official's right there on it, so you got to, we never trust the officials, but you got to trust that he had the best view in the house right there. But, boy, that was just a great scramble play there. Rhodes running for his life, was able to scramble out of treble here to the near side, put it in the back corner of the end zone, but Curry just a little bit out of bounds.
Well, it's time for the defense to step back up here. It's a handoff to Abby off the right-hand side. Meets Grant Anderson, levels him, but then is met by Peyton Parker, and he gets leveled right back. So gain of about 4 on the first down, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, a lot of pads popping down there tonight for sure. Chase Disney was making some contact there as well, and been a very physical ball game. I mean, these are some big bruising backs. You know, as we know, the big offensive line just kind of laying on you there a little bit. So defensively, got to step up right here and try to get into some of those gaps. As we talked about, tight splits, not a lot of room to run through for a defender right here.
Meet-on-meet action here. 3 wide receivers split out. Fakes the handoff to Abby. He is going to give it to Abby, and Abby's into the 2nd level, into the 3rd level, still fighting, finally brought down by a group of Grizzlies, and they say he fumbled it. Let's see if they mark him down. Let's see.
They are giving it to him.
They are giving it to the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies force a huge turnover, and the Grizzlies will take over at about the 39-yard line. It'll be the 42-yard line, Finally got it right there. But a huge turnover for the Grizzlies as they are back in action.
Yeah, Ty Hubert came up with that one, and Isaiah Abbey just trying to do a little bit too much. You know, he just lowering that shoulder, pounding people in there and doing a great job. But, you know, it's one of those things where the first guy stood him up, second guy came in there and ripped the football out while he was still up. And so that's a huge turnover when it looked like all the momentum was seemingly in the favor of the visitors here, who were once again putting together another drive up 7. But now all of a sudden the complexion of this ball game changes a little bit.
That it does. Brody Rhodes barking out orders to his guys. Maybe a little bit of confusion here, and the Creekview Grizzlies are going to have to burn a timeout as there was lots of confusion from the formation they were trying to get in.
Yeah, and you hate to see that with 1:05 left in the quarter. You might need that timeout late in the ball game, especially in a close one like this, but nonetheless you want to make sure everyone's on the same page. But, yeah, I mean, that was big turnover right there. We haven't had a lot of turnovers tonight. Had the interception in the first half. You know, Rhodes just kind of throwing it, chucking it down to the end zone. Other than that, though, it's been a pretty clean ball game, but boy, a big turnover right there and in a short field, too. So if you're the Grizzlies, you got to feel like now's the time to strike. You know, you got to get some kind of points out of this drive to get the momentum back in your favor, because we saw in the first half when the Grizzlies put that one on the board, the momentum completely changed. And I think if they can somehow find points on this drive here, maybe get the Sprayberry team down just a little bit and then try to, take it to them here in this fourth quarter.
Cherokee down 23-9 against North Gwinnett in the fourth quarter. And River Ridge up 28-14 over Kennesaw Mountain. So just a few score updates for you around the area. Of course, stay tuned for the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show, where we will wrap up all of tonight's action and give you some idea of where your playoff team will be if they continue to play. Of course, we want to thank you all for joining us here as you're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM. Brody Rhodes here with 3 wide receivers split out, a tight end, and a running back named Tyler Stevens. Turns around, and it's a handoff to Cloy. He's looking for the flea flicker, and he's got Hayden over the middle, and it's intercepted. And it's going to be returnable here, and he's out across the 35-40. And he's finally going to be wrapped up by A.J. Vaccaro, and the trickeration did not work. And Sprayberry gets it right back.
Yeah, that was Jerome Robinson Jr. there on the interception, and not a wise decision by Cloy. The play was there if he would have led his wide receiver, but that's a tough play. He's trying to throw the ball back across against his body, and just I don't question the play call. I kind of question the decision-making there. You got to tell your wide receiver, hey, if he's not wide open, go ahead and eat that. Robinson, Dave, you mentioned him. I believe he's a team leader in interceptions, and made a great play to recover and pick that ball off.
Yeah, his second of the night. He's got 6 on the year.
Big play for Sprayberry. They're back in action. 3 wide receivers, a handoff to Abby. He's into the second level and the third. 40, 35, dragging a group of Grizzlies with him. Finally cut down at the 33-yard line. Move those chains enough for a first down as Sprayberry deep into Creekview territory.
Turnovers are the great equalizer in a ball game, as we talk about. And you see they're just such big momentum plays. And we've had 2 big momentum swings here at the end of this third quarter. And just when it looked like Creekview is breathing new life, all of a sudden, the double pass play there, and it gets intercepted. And now all of a sudden Sprayberry picks right up where they left off and down at the Creekview 33.
Abby and Brown in the backfield, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Slaps his hands, and he's attempting out over the middle a quick screen pass, a quick slant, and it is complete. That was once again completed to Muhammad, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, they try to get the ball in his hands. Fatir Muhammad, as we talked about, the leading receiver for Sprayberry coming in, 19 yards a touch. So you'll take those, 5 and 6 yard slants. The only problem is on first down, you give them a good second down play to choose from.
That is the end of the third quarter. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll bring you the final quarter of action here from the Grizzly Den.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman. But she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
I'd like to see that play up against the sideline so that he can throw it away.
If there's,
Put it only where he can get it.
Welcome back to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. You just heard Arthur Mosley and Dave Garner discussing what they would do
breaking it down, man.
if they were in such a position. But by the looks of Dave Garner, he would be in no such position to be skill player in Emas.
That's why I'm up here, man.
Amen.
With you.
Yeah. Hey.
We're all in the same boat, Will. I mean, we're past our prime.
No, Art, you are not. Trust me, buddy. There's still a few schools recruiting you, just in case you didn't know. I don't know if you have any eligibility left.
Word is he's got a big basketball game, though, next week.
So, well, listen, there are some priorities in life. Some people have football. Some people have basketball. And Arthur made his choice, and that's fine. And we'll respect it as best we can.
Hey, the suit and tie always takes precedence, man.
He is the best dressed
coach, man,
in Cherokee County.
In the county, absolutely.
Possibly the state. Just saying.
That's debatable.
Well, you could have fooled me. Two wide receivers here. It's a handoff to Abby. Bounces it to the outside. Peyton Parker gets drugged. Cale Williams gets drugged. Finally brought down by Alex Montez. And that's enough for a first down. Out into the plus territory, 17-yard line. Move those chains. Enough for a first down.
This almost feels like a continuation of the opening drive in the second quarter. I feel like I'm watching the same game here as we go into the fourth quarter now, and it seems like Sprayberry's had the ball, the entire second half. Creekview just hasn't really been able to hang on to it. They give it right back after the turnover, and now Sprayberry's knocking on the door, and Creekview's defense really on their heels right now, not able to stop the run, and a touchdown right here, it almost seemingly puts the ball game away with still plenty of time left, but points have been hard to come by.
Three wide receivers, one tight end. He's loading up, going one-on-one. Taylor Cox, Young, and Muhammad, and it falls incomplete. Good coverage out there to the outside. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Boy, that was almost a great one-handed grab in the back corner of the end zone by Fatir Muhammad. He just couldn't hold it. Pretty good coverage by the Grizzlies, but with the way things are going right now, Kyle Brown, this offense really starting to pick up momentum. You'd love to see Creekview somehow or another maybe force another turnover down here. They really need it in a 7-point ball game. Like I said, even if they score right here, it's not the end of the game. But, boy, Creekview's going to have to really change their philosophy and go hurry up on offense.
Right you are. Three wide receivers. That's Bush sent in motion out of the slot. A flag comes in. And I believe it'll be a false start. And that is indeed the call. He was been blown up in the backfield anyway, but 2nd and 10 goes to 2nd and 15. Ball will be moved from the 17 out across to the 22.
Guys, if I'm Coach Vavra there, I'm probably handing this ball off to Abby. What is it? 2nd down for the next 2 downs, and then we're kicking the field goal here to get up 2 scores here. He's really taking control of this ball game, and a physical back. He's not as doesn't have the low center of gravity, but man, he's dealing out some blows at 6'1", 210 pounds.
He sure is. Looks like a man amongst boys out there. Low snap, fielded cleanly by Brown. Surveys good protection. Absolutely nobody getting after him. Now he's going to run with it. Grant Anderson in pursuit, and he is absolutely leveled by number 19, out there on the outside. Let's see for Creekview.
Ty Hubert, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe Brown's a little bit shaken up after that one, and indeed he is.
Yeah, boy, big hit over there. Brown just could have ran out of bounds, but he couldn't get to the sideline, I guess. Tried to lower that shoulder, took a big shot over there.
He did. He absolutely got the worst of that. Ty Hubert leveled him. And they're going to make him check out of this one. So possibly, obviously don't want to speculate, but you have to wonder if the referee had a little conversation with him and felt like he may need to be just checked out quickly for a concussion protocol, so they'll have to go over to the sideline and just talk it out. And that'll bring up the backup quarterback as we try and get a number here for you. Big, tall guy.
Yeah, big numbers. Yeah, that's Trey Boston, the sophomore.
Okay, number 16. Yeah, Trey Boston comes in. It's Abby in the backfield with him on 3rd and 12. See if they hand it off. And that's exactly what they do. And Creekview, oh boy, he's still fighting. My goodness. And he is going to be just a yard short of the first down marker on 3rd and 12 in decision time for the Hornets.
You just can't let that happen. I mean, 3rd and 12, they just keep the ball on the ground, run off tackle, and he picks up, 11 yards. And Creekview had him. They hit him at the line of scrimmage. But just let them bounce off of tackles. Guys aren't bringing them down. They're not wrapping up and getting underneath the pads. And so now all of a sudden 4th and 1, and, they're going to they're just going to go for it right here with the success they've had, and that's a smart call.
Trey Brown back into the game at quarterback, so he checks out fine. Watch Abby on this one, quite obviously. Count, hand off to Abby. First down, still fighting. He's going to be cut down just short of the touchdown. So 2 yards short of the goal line, but move those chains with 9 minutes and 56 seconds here. The Sprayberry Hornets really wearing down this Creekview defense.
Yeah, nothing going right for Creekview here in the second half. This is a dream situation for Sprayberry. They come out, take the opening drive, 14 plays in the second half, score a touchdown, and then, they swap turnovers, get the ball right back. Creekview's only ran a few plays this entire half. And now Sprayberry's flirting with their second score. They go up 2 full scores here on Creekview, and it's an uphill battle the rest of this fourth quarter.
Abby checks out. Kenty checks in at running back for the Jackets here.
All right, low snap, but it is a handoff to Kenty, as you mentioned, and touchdown Sprayberry. So it is 20-7 pending the extra point here on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update. And as you mentioned, Kenty there on the carry.
Yeah, Jermaine Kinney, 28 carries on the year, just 122 yards, just his second touchdown rush, but he's a big guy, and certainly a guy that's, going to be playing a little bit, down the road as well. But, yeah, they've got so many options. Kinney just a sophomore, and he's a big kid, so he's definitely a guy that has a bright future.
Sprayberry will line up for the extra point attempt to try and make this a 2-touchdown lead instead of just a 2-possession. They're up 13 points currently. Snap was a little bit behind the hold, but a good job by the holder to reel it back in. The kick is up, and it is through there, so it is 21-7. Let's take a second break on WLJA. When we come back, we'll bring you more high school football.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
Welcome back to the Grizzly Den as we have 9 minutes and 31 seconds left on the scoreboard here. 7-21 on that said scoreboard in favor of Sprayberry. Thank you for joining us on a cool, crisp Friday night. Stay tuned for the Sosby Funeral Home post-game show. We're going to break down all the coverage of this game and all the other games going on around the area that you'll want to know about. Toe meets leather here as the Grizzlies will get another shot at this one. It's a pooch kick up to Dawson Curry. They're going to try and set up a little bit of a return, but cut down across the 32-yard line, going nowhere.
Trying to split a couple defenders there. Round 1 state playoffs here tonight. Creekview with the home game, but things here in the second half have not gone well for them. However, there's still 9:25 on the clock, still plenty of time. But, defensively, they got to find a way to get off the field. Sprayberry just way too success on the ground tonight. A 3rd down and 12, and you get 11 yards, and then you come back and get the touchdown, or you get the first down to set up 1st and goal. And it's just been that kind of second half because the defense has been on the field the whole time. So offensively, you got to make something happen right here.
Rhodes turns around, hands it to Stevens. He's up forward for a gain of about 4 there. Good first down run. That last drive, 9 plays, 57 yards, 6 of it on the ground for 51 yards. Only 1 of 2 passing, but 6 yards, 2 first downs in 3 minutes and 19 seconds time of possession. Abby had 4 runs for 46 yards, so an 11-yard average. And then Kinte brought it in for a 3-yard touchdown run to make the score 21-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard.
Yeah, big 2nd down and 6. Play coming in from the sideline here, Will. And, it's one of those things where probably going to have to start throwing the football a little bit. You're taking shots. The running game just has not been there against this big-bodied front for Sprayberry. So let's see if they, start to kind of try to loosen up this defense and take some shots.
And it is a pass. They're going to load up deep. Pressure gets after Rhodes. He's just going to have to dump it over the middle, and that's exactly what he does. Fires it out of bounds. A.J. Vaccaro in the area, and he was also out of the tackle box. No intentional grounding. And it'll bring up 3rd and 6.
But Rhodes running for his life right there. I mean, that's the thing. Offensive line, they've held together pretty well tonight. You talk about some of these guys up front here. DeBrouwers, we talk about, the center, and, of course, Dorr, and some of these guys doing a pretty good job there. But, this bigger front, bringing pressure off the edges, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Sprayberry, so Rhodes just has not had a lot of time here in the second half when they have had the football to look downfield and take shots.
Chase right to the bottom. Dawson Curry split out to the other side. Andrew Cloy, A.J. Vaccaro, the other 2 wide receivers. And Rhodes has absolutely no times and just is forced to a knee. And that'll make it a 4th and a mile now. Let's call it 4th and 13.
Yeah, Brian Lee that time. Pressure up the middle. They brought some backers that time. 41 total tackles on the year for Brian Lee. He's one of those other backers. We talked about, of course, Broad and Tran, of course, the leading tacklers. Lee is the 3rd linebacker in there, but all 3 of these guys have sacks. That's the 4th sack of the season for Lee. Of course, Broad has 6.5, and Tran has 1 as well. So these linebackers, like we talked about, they love to bring pressure.
Dawson Curry gets a good kick on this one, out across to the 35, and it's going to bounce at the 30, take a Creekview roll, 20, and that's where they'll mark it, is right at the 20-yard line. So a great field-flipping punt. It is a 51-yard punt, so Dawson Curry's new long on the season, and it was a beauty.
Well, couldn't have come at a better time, that's for sure. But now if you're Creekview's defense, you got to go right back out there after 3 and out. Offense unable to help you out any, and got to find it from somewhere right here. You got to buckle down, and the thing is, as we talked about, when you've got guys that are, have no splits on that offensive line, you got such big bodies, there's really no gaps to blitz through. That's the thing, and they've just been able to run behind the big offensive line even when Creekview's brought run blitzes. They just haven't had a lot of success.
3 wide receivers to the bottom, fakes the handoff out over the middle. That's to Muhammad, and he is slung down by Hubert, but he holds on, a gain of 6, 2nd and 4 out across the 26-yard line.
Interesting play call there, Dave, going with the pass on 1st down. I thought they might give the ball to number 9 here and bleed out this clock like they've been able to do in the 3rd quarter, but no, they're leaving the playbook wide open.
Yeah, they've had success on those slants here tonight. They've been open and pitch and catch with the way Kyle Brown's been throwing the football.
Brown gets the count. It's a handoff this time, and he's going to be brought down by Peyton Parker. Good tackle, but enough for a 1st down. Move the chains. They're out across the 31-yard line. And we have a stoppage in play as they move the chains. And now they're going to move the chains. It took him a little while. I thought maybe they thought he was kidding. But no, it is at the 31-yard line. Sprayberry huddles back up. Clock winding under 7 minutes here to go. Creekview 2 timeouts. Sprayberry all 3. Sprayberry up 21-7 in this one. 3 wide receivers split out wide. 1 tight end and the running back Abbey joined alongside Brown. Gets the snap. It's a handoff to Brown right up the middle. Big hole. 40. He's gone. 50, 40, 30. You can put it on the board. It is 28-7, pinning the extra point on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard after that.
69-yard touchdown run by Abbey. It's the 2nd touchdown run of the night, and that time just came right up the middle. Creekview brought a run blitz. They came up, they filled the holes, but the tackle was missed right at the line of scrimmage, and then after that, man, Abbey just showed the speed and just got into that 2nd and 3rd level, split a couple defenders. It was a foot race, and by the time he hit the midfield stripe, you knew that it wasn't going to be good for the Grizzlies.
Doing his best Jordan McDonald impersonation on that carry there, and really a backbreaker tonight, 27-7, pinning the extra point.
Kennesaw Mountain showing a lot of fight. It's 28-21 over there. Cherokee showing a lot of fight. It's 16-29 over there.
And the extra point is no good. I think it went under the crossbar. I don't think you see that too often here, but
not without getting blocked.
Nevertheless, here 27-7 with 6:36 left to play here in the ball game. So Grizzlies really have their work cut out for them here.
Keep the action right here for you. That last drive by Sprayberry, 3 plays, 80 yards, 2 on the ground for 74 rushing yards. Of course, that was a 69-yard touchdown scamper by Abbey. And they put it in the air once on that first down slant to Mohammed that was completed for 6 yards. 1 minute and 7 seconds time of possession. If you ask Sprayberry, they probably would have liked to take a little bit more time off the clock. But, hey, you take the touchdown instead.
Well, we knew coming in it was going to be a tough matchup for the Grizzlies. I mean, Sprayberry's offense averaging almost 400 yards a game. 223 on the ground, 167 through the air. They've scored a total of 44 touchdowns. And in comparison, Creekview's only scored 22. I mean, Sprayberry in 9 games has scored twice as many touchdowns as Creekview has on the year, just looking at the matchup coming in. So you kind of felt like Sprayberry was going to put some points up, tonight, even with Creekview having the defense they've had. But who would have known that their running game would have been so affected? I tell you, the offensive line, to me, this game has been one in the trenches. I mean, Sprayberry just using those big-bodied guys, shortening up those splits, and just pushing the Grizzlies off the ball.
This is going to be a kick out towards the flat there. Curry fields it at the 25, and he's going to run across and flip the field. And he's out across the 30. Got a little bit of a running room. 40, 45, 50. Only a few people to beat. And he's finally cut down, but a great return by Dawson Curry, showing as much fight as he can. And they are way out across into the 35-yard line. Time for the Creekview offense to step up.
Well, they've been waiting all night long to hit that wedge. Sprayberry's been hitting the ball in the same place on the field, and so they tried to get it a little while ago, but it just didn't work out, and so Curry kind of had to come out of bounds. But that time, Curry had just enough room to get back to the middle of the field. He took it near side, went around, and, of course, the Grizzlies had a beautiful wall set up over there and was able to just take it upfield.
Exactly what you wanted from your guy there. 3 wide receivers split out, tight end, and a running back. Tyler Stevens will move from right to left, and the Grizzlies are working from right to left as well across your radio dial. Rhodes surveys, slant, completed to Coy out across the middle, a gain of about 6. Good first down play, 2nd and 4. Clock just over 6 minutes here to go in the final period.
Had to go down to make that catch. If he hits him in stride, it's a bigger gain and a first down in the middle of the field. Cloy had to go down, though, sliding to make the catch, but still second in good shape right here, 4 yards. Now you can open up your playbook.
Here we go. 3 wide receivers split out. A tight end, that's A.J. Vaccaro. Tyler Stevens on a little release play, but it's completed out to Chase Wright out in space. 20, pushing forward, 15, 10, still on his feet, and he's going to be cut down at about the 5-yard line. What an effort from Chase Wright.
And he got out of bounds, too, to stop the clock. Over there on the far sideline, just a quick hitter, working out of the slot right there, but was able to get outside of the defender who lost contain. And Wright was able to kind of beat him around the corner and then drug a couple guys down the sideline before he finally went out of bounds.
Rhodes doubles to one side. Will bootleg to the opposite side. It's a designed run all the way, trying to hit the corner, and he's going to be cut down just about a yard short there. Clock will still run. He's going to be marked right at the 1.5-yard line.
Great pursuit there by Joshua Fitch, the senior, to chase down Rhodes to keep him out of the end zone, but the Grizzlies looking for a quick score right here.
Rhodes, Stevens in the backfield, Andrew Cloy one-on-one up top, and it's a handoff to Stevens off the side. He's going to be close, and he's in. Touchdown, Creekview. And they respond quickly as they can off the Dawson Curry return, and it's 13-27 pending the extra point on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard.
Tyler Stevens, ninth rushing touchdown of the year, is second tonight. And so Tyler Stevens having a big night here, accounting for both Grizzly touchdowns on the ground.
5:19 left to go as they will attempt the extra point here. The hold is good. The kick is up. It's real low, but it is through. So it is 14-27 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pickup or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
You're listening to WLJA FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1 LJ, Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, and all of North Georgia.
That last drive by Creekview, 4 plays, 35 yards, 2 rushes for 5 yards. Of course, that was the Tyler Stevens touchdown scamper. 2 of 2 through the air, 30 passing yards, a first down, and 1:17 time of possession. So a quick answer from the Grizzlies after the quick response from Sprayberry to begin with. And it's 14-27.
Yeah, minute 17, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, that's what you had to have right there. And so now Creekview going to tee it up here from the near hash and try an onside kick. They got to have 2 scores here, but they still have 5:19 and a couple timeouts.
They do, but they'll see what they can do. Dawson Curry, it looks like, or no, excuse me, that is indeed Tyler Stevens. And a good high kick. It's a great bounce, but Sprayberry will fall on it. So a good attempt there. But Sprayberry retains possession, so they'll work with a short field. But a good attempt by Ty Hubert.
Yeah, boy, Hubert did a great job. He got the big bounce, and that ball just hit, and it was a dream. I mean, that thing was like a punt. It stayed up in the air, but unfortunately some of the Grizzlies had already kind of run by it, and again, just wasn't anybody over there against the sideline to get that one. But, boy, I thought for a minute they had a shot at it.
Checking the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard here. River Ridge tied up now with Kennesaw Mountain, 28 all in the fourth quarter. So interesting developments going over there down in Woodstock.
We'll also have a bit of breaking news here for you in just a moment, so stay tuned. Abby on the handoff here, a gain of 2. So we've heard some rumblings from the Creekview folks, and now we can officially announce it. Nick Penley has announced his commitment. He will transfer from Mississippi State over to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So a big pickup, and obviously the Creekview faithful know about him and his time with the Grizzlies, especially that 2018 run where he graduated that year and went to Mississippi State. But with the coaching changes and such, you guys had a great interview with him on Friday nights at the Tavern on your podcast over there. But he'll become a Yellow Jacket, and I'm sure it's Coach Collins and Jameer Gibbs will be glad to have him up front helping block the way in the coming future. 3 wide receivers to the bottom here. Brown and Abby in the backfield. 2nd and 7. Hand off to Abby. Good stop by the Grizzlies. A gain of about 1. 3rd and 6 coming up here with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. But the Grizzlies are going to burn a timeout here right at 4:30.
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to start calling them. I wasn't sure if they'd maybe wait till the after the 3rd down play to kind of see what happened right here. I think it's a good time though for Coach Williams to burn the 2nd one. Now remember, they had to burn the one there towards the end of the 3rd quarter, so they only have 1 left, unfortunately. But if they're able to make a stop right here, they probably take that last one and then try to go down, score as quick as they can, and still got 4.5 minutes left, so it's not inconceivable, that they won't do that. I mean, the game's still in doubt; it's not over with yet. But looking around the scores and seeing some of those other games tighten up, particularly River Ridge. Wow, what a shocker here. Late in the ball game as they're having to fight for their life to survive into round 2.
No kidding.
Yeah, I believe the Cherokee score, North Gwinnett score is going final now, 29-16. North Gwinnett victorious over the Cherokee Warriors. So, we're down to our last couple of teams here, and River Ridge with looks like the best chance right now, barring a miracle comeback here by Creekview, which is not out of the realm of possibility with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, like you said, Dave.
So we'll keep that score pulled up here for you.
What a year for the Warriors, though. I mean, you hate to see the draw they got and kind of come to the end the way it did, but another good year for Coach Josh Shaw and Cherokee.
4 wide receivers. They're going to air it out here on 3rd down. He's got all day to throw. Finds a man out over the flat, and that's completed and enough for a 1st down as the clock will continue to roll. And that was Ty Hubert in coverage, and that was Bush on the reception.
Just a backbreaker. Bush running a great route, and we called his name a few times earlier. I want to say he was a number 1 wide receiver for them last year, but man, he's kind of made his living on 3rd down right now when it counted, and that's a huge 1st down for Sprayberry to keep this drive going.
Huge. So they will wind up with 3 wide receivers here, a tight end, a running back, assume that they're going to put the ball back on the ground with Abby. And that's exactly what they do. On the right-hand side, makes a man miss, but a good tackle out there. I believe that was Chase Disney who was able to hold on to a leg. Gain of 8, though. 2nd and 2 coming up.
I've been very impressed with the way Sprayberry's just stayed aggressive. Even here up a couple scores, they're still throwing the football. They didn't want to just run the clock and force Creekview to take their final timeout and have to, punt it back to them and all that. They went for the 1st down, and they got it. They caught the Grizzlies, on their heels a little bit there. And I applaud the game plan tonight by Brett Favre and this Sprayberry coaching staff. They have really stayed aggressive on the offensive side of things here tonight.
2nd and 3, a 1st down puts this one almost out of reach. And it's a handoff to Abby. He goes over the top, and he's going to be about a yard short of that 1st down.
Just a big pep in Abby's step. And, I mean to tell you, he is he's running harder and harder, and a lot of that probably has to do with the scoreboard. I imagine him sensing it's winning time here down the stretch, but Creekview's really down to their last. They got to get off the field right here on third down.
2 minutes, 50 seconds. Going to try and draw Creekview offsides. Good discipline by the Grizzlies not to jump. Coach Williams trying to organize his defense here, get a little last-minute adjustments in. 3rd and 1. Gets the snap, turnaround, handoff to Abbey. He's met at the line, but he's still fighting for yardage. He's got the first down a little bit more out across to the 29-yard line where they'll mark him. So they'll move the chains, and that about does it in this one.
Yeah, and we said it, whenever Demarion Owens, the lead back and team captain of the Sprayberry team went down to the first half with that knee injury and was carted off the field, we said, hey, 3.5 minutes left before the half at that point, how are these teams going to respond, and I really felt like that Creekview would kind of have a little bit of the advantage there. I mean, you lose a 1,000-yard rusher, a guy that ran for over 1,000 yards in 9 games, but I tell you what, man, Isaiah Abbey has come out in the second half and run like a man possessed. I think that if nothing else, it motivated him that he knew he was going to have to step up and be the lead back the rest of the way.
Brown, handoff this time. I believe that was to number 34 once again.
Looks like Kenty checked in. Give Abbey a break, a well-deserved break.
Need to save him up for next week as well if the score holds here.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Will, moving forward. I mean, we don't know how severe. It didn't look good, obviously, for Owens, so they may be without him the rest of the postseason. So now they're going to have to rely on maybe Kenty and some of those sophomores and other guys to step up and kind of be the guy that's able to spell, Abbey a little bit. So Isaiah Abbey's very battle-tested. We know he can run, but now they're having to find some other guys too.
2 wide receivers. Drugged down by, I believe that's Isaac Hubert there, and Creekview burns their final timeout with 1:18 left. So doing anything they can to get the football back. Of course, when you have the football, there's always a chance. So especially when you have receivers like Brody Rhodes, a quarterback like Brody Rhodes, and receivers like Andrew Cloy and Dawson Curry.
Well, again, things obviously aren't looking good right now, and coming into this first week, this round 1 of the playoffs, who would have thought that this may very well be the final night? Not want to be pessimistic, but it could be the final night for Cherokee County football, depending on what River Ridge does just down the road. Hopefully those guys can pull it out. Obviously, as Art, you said, the final score from Cherokee looks like they lost on the road tonight over at North Gwinnett. This one right here not looking good for the Grizzlies. So,
well, that
River
Ridge score not looking so hot either.
Kind of a shocker, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. That's about all you can say. That's about all you can say. Yeah.
Nothing's final, well, except for the Cherokee score. And you're exactly right. Think about Cherokee's season, wins against Rome, Cartersville, Corky Kell. That was the first game we got to call that Wednesday afternoon. And to think that season, unfortunately, with kind of a short stick there, that loss to Roswell really, really, really hurt them there at the end. Really disappointing in that. Just the outcome, not the season by any stretch, but the outcome in the draw of North Gwinnett here. Creekview 7-2, 2 losses to Cherokee and River Ridge, 2 really good teams. And this is a handoff up the opposite side, once again to Kenty.
Got a man down for the Grizzlies. Yeah, it doesn't look good here.
Looks like a cramp maybe. Don't want to speculate here. Number 9.
Yeah.
For
Chase McNeil, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is disappointing, too, for Creekview because they've had, as we talked about, they've had a great season, too. And you talked about those 2 losses in the regular season, but both those games, right down to the end could have gone their way and might have been looking at a different season as well. So, yeah, it's just very unfortunate couple of games going the way they have here tonight. And of course, we're still holding out for, that River Ridge Kennesaw Mountain score to see if we'll have
River Ridge and Kennesaw Mountain will be going to overtime.
Oh, wow.
Well, we know how River Ridge has performed in overtime.
It's true. And we have a whole post-game show, so we'll try and get you a final score at some point in there. Now, I know overtime rules are a little bit adjusted in the playoffs. Am I correct in that assumption? I think it's I don't remember the necessary rules that change.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. We saw that here earlier in the season. I think it's
get the ball to
15-yard line. Yeah, it's basically college rules, but from the 15 instead of the 25. And so, maybe Amir Morrison and that River Ridge offense can work some more magic.
Maybe.
1
minute, 6 seconds left here to go on 4th and 6. Sprayberry will go for it, try and clinch out this game. They can run it down to 30 seconds with the way the play clock will run now. Kind of wonder if they're going to try a ADO or something like that. Although it is 4th and 6. So see what they do. Possibly burn a timeout. Don't have to snap it. And that's what looks like they're going to do. Just trying to get somebody to jump, and they don't.
Run that play clock down in 10 seconds right now. So,
like I said, they should be able to run it down to the 29-second mark, since they're just a little bit ahead of it.
Looks like they're going to burn it.
And they're going to burn it right at the 30. Well, they run it down to the 29.
Yeah.
So with 29 seconds left, with 4th down, you have to assume that they'll kick the field goal here, because that would make it 16 points. So it would require an immaculate possession and 2 of those.
I don't know if you kick the field goal, you just run it and run the clock and just say, we're not going to. Because if you kick the field goal, it's 30. It's still a 2-possession ball game. It doesn't really change that much for Creekview.
Yeah.
Again, we're also asking for a miracle out of the Grizzlies at this point.
Right. Well,
yeah.
exactly.
Well,
yeah. But what are your, you hate it to end for these seniors. I mean, guys, you think about this lineup, you think about, who's on this roster. Obviously, Brody Rhodes is the guy we focus on being the starting quarterback and the athlete he is. But you look down this roster, and, Hayden Thompson, of course, who ran the ball here a couple times tonight. Dawson Curry. I mean, a lot of guys. We talk about some of those linemen like Anthony Dorr and Sam Minosi, defensively sack leader. So they've definitely got some pieces to fill next year. It'll be interesting to see who steps up and kind of what the makeup of this team will look like, moving forward.
Only got really 2 underclassmen who start. If you want to fill Taylor Cox-Young into one of those cornerback slots, Nick Stewart and Owen Mello will graduate. But Cale Williams and Isaac Hubert are your 2 underclassmen who start. So loading up and actually trying to score a touchdown here. And
they did.
They did. Wow. Oh, boy. That's something.
Little insult to injury there.
It's a little classless.
Coach Vavra,
Well, I think they want to send a message. I mean, they want to stay aggressive. 4th down play. It just took a shot at the end zone right there. They nothing else wanted to pick up the first down, but that went in the end zone right there. So again, they've been targeting Mustafa Hefner all night long, but I think they want to leave any doubt right here in this one.
I don't know if they got wind of us saying that Region 6 was a little soft.
Well, we did off record, and that if I haven't seen that Cambridge score recently, but if that Cambridge Cal score was
Cambridge is still up in that game, so Region 7 a little bit.
Yeah, 36-14 final over there. So. 34-14 here. We'll keep the action right here for you. And Coach Williams is going out to have a meeting with the official about something. Or maybe it was he's actually yelling at the other head coach. So I'm pretty sure Coach Williams took exception to that, which I can certainly see why.
Yeah, I think you probably hand that ball off on 4th and 7 and goes over on downs. Creekview has 2 more plays and you get out of here. I think that's a gentleman call to do, but maybe Coach Vavra having a little hangover from last year's battle. I don't know.
But you know what? I'm going to blame Von Brown. I bet Von said something.
Yeah, I bet he did. He's sitting there thinking, man, Sprayberry's got no shot.
That's what happened. They heard something on the Cedarwood Tavern. And
that's what happens. Last drive, 10 plays, 57 yards, 8 on the ground, 21 yards, 2 of 2, 36 yards passing, 4 minutes and 57 seconds time of possession, capped off by that last touchdown catch. So we're set up here. Of course, stay tuned for the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show. We'll give you the final scores that we have around the area, fill out the bracket a little bit more while we wait for a River Ridge final, if we can get that to you before the end of the day. Pooch kick here. It's going to be fair caught up. And I believe that was number 8 on the reception.
Tristan Summers, I think.
Yep, one of the juniors who will be back next year. So for 22 seconds left, let's see what the Grizzlies try to do.
Well, it was, just a tale of 2 halves. You felt like at halftime, 7-7, you felt good about where the Grizzlies were at considering the way things had gone. Owens out of the ball game, come out in the second half. They just had no momentum. Sprayberry took the opening drive of the second half, much like they did the first half, and just marched down the field, turned it into points. And then it just kind of saw the wind come out of the sails. They had a little bit of hope there when they got the turnover. But then they gave the ball right back, and you could just see the air just kind of let out, of the sideline. And then Sprayberry goes down, scores in that third quarter, and just, Creekview just never recovered from that point. The Grizzlies just didn't have an answer. Kept on fighting. I mean, they scored in a minute 17 in the fourth quarter here to make it a two-possession game, but just could not get back off the field defensively. Just defense on the field way too much tonight.
Yeah, they were. Again, I was impressed. Sprayberry's offensive line just did a great job, physical at the point of attack, and didn't matter who was running behind there on the offensive behind the offensive line. I think they could have put me, you, or Will back there, and we could probably average about 2.5 yards a carry.
Yep. Yeah, big guys up there. We talked about it. I mean, Moore, 6'3", 307.
Stoppage and play, guys. The student section emptied out of the stands and was trying to get ready to come onto the field, and Coach Vivara went over there and told them, hey, knock it off, kids. And just a quick update, River Ridge did score on their first possession of overtime, so they received the toss, and that is 35-28. So we'll have to wait to see what Kennesaw Mountain does with their possession. Rhodes here, 3 wide receivers split out. Quick pass intended for Curry, and it's up and caught. Out across the 50, and he's ended over at the 48-yard line. So they'll have to move the chains here. 13 seconds left to go. Vaccaro checks off here. Summers checks in. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Most likely the final play of the game here. Rhodes surveys. Pressure already. And he's going to have to run it and tuck with it. 40. Try to make something happen. And he's going to fall across the 35-yard line. And that'll put the period on this one. 34-14. Sprayberry will advance. We'll move into the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show and break it all down for you. You've been listening to WLJA 101.1 FM. 2 minutes in, we're back.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on EnjoyCherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
It's football time, and Brian Aaron at Woodstock Outlet has some great news for all the football fans.
Hey, y'all, we are glad to be a sponsor for these games and have a great time. Stay safe out there, and we just really do love being part of our community, and thankful we got the best customers a business could possibly have. And we built a new warehouse. We got it full for the pick-up or delivery, so we're ready to go. Y'all come see us, and we sure do appreciate you.
I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Hi, I'm Dave Garner, your local Woodman Life representative. When I'm not broadcasting, I'm doing my best as a poverty prevention specialist to help protect families from financial hardship. Call or visit me online today and see how I can help you and your family stay protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement options. Insurance protection, financial security. That's Woodman Life, standing strong for over 130 years.
Welcome back to the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show. I'm your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Arthur Mosley. I believe Dave's going to stay on with us here for just a little bit. We do have some good news for you. River Ridge was able to clinch the victory over Kennesaw Mountain in overtime, 35-28 final over there. And Rome was able to claim the victory over Habersham Central, so that will be where we are next week, as River Ridge will get to host that home playoff game. So our season is not over just yet, so for all you fans who were hoping to get a little bit of more action, we got at least another week here for you. Of course, the final here, 34-14, a heartbreaker for the Grizzlies. This ends their season. They move to 7-3 on the season. Sprayberry will improve to 6-4 on the season as well. So, guys, really the story of this game was Sprayberry's ability to dominate the line of scrimmage for the most part. And just a few turnovers here and there as we got some final stats to run over here with you. Sprayberry, 66 plays, 376 yards, 41 rushes for 232. The majority of that coming from Abby, who had 25 carries and 195 yards. And they were 12 of 22 through the air, 144 yards, and it totaled to 25 minutes and 27 seconds time possession. Creekview, on the other hand, 51 plays, only 188 yards, 29 rushes for 54 yards, a 9 of 20 through the air, 134 yards, and ended up with 22 minutes and 33 seconds time of possession. The final from them over there. Once again, final score here, 34-14, and Cherokee also falls to North Gwinnett over there. So we move from 3-1, which is what normally happens in the playoffs. You start to not so much lose the weak teams, because Creekview certainly isn't a weak team, and neither is Cherokee, as you obviously know by this point. But obviously the competition gets stiffer the further things go along, and at this point it is just getting harder as you advance in the region.
Yeah, there are no easy outs come this time of the year, and everybody's earned a spot to be in the postseason. We thought that Sprayberry might be a little down, and I'll be the first to admit I was wrong about that. Really came in and was physical, Will, like you said, not only on the offensive line but also on the defensive line, and not allowing Creekview a whole lot of room to run, not being able to establish the play action or the run game to get to the play action pass, and Brody had a couple of clean pockets, but man, when the chips were down and he needed to make a play, there really wasn't a whole lot of room or time for him to make those plays to the receivers downfield. And again, great hats off to Creekview. They fought Sprayberry just a little bit better, a little bit tougher tonight, and they'll be moving on.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you and I getting behind that offensive line might have had a couple, yards, carrying. And that's the thing. I mean, we saw there wasn't much of a drop-off once Demarion Owens left the ball game, and we know how good of a player he is. But, Isaiah Abbey, I mean, you just shed it. Just shy of 200 yards rushing, on the night, had a couple of touchdowns to go along with it, had the big 69-yard run that really put him over the top there as well. So, I mean, just an unbelievable effort. Game was one of the trenches. I mean, the offensive line for Sprayberry, just very impressed with those guys, and just the way that they were able to move people off the ball. And Abby coming in. I mean, these backs run hard. I mean, they very rarely did they